Let's see if that does it. Can anybody see or hear me right now? Let me know. Looks like it switched over. Yeah. Alright, excellent. Great. Welcome to Paleontologizing, everybody. It's good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. I had to start stream a little bit later today than I was hoping to because we had some weather roll in. Had a little bit of a rainstorm. Just kind of came overhead real quickly. As things, that's how it goes out here in Wyoming. But welcome, everybody. If you're here for the very first time, then let me introduce myself. If you're not, then let me reintroduce myself. For anybody watching live or later on in the VOD or on YouTube, welcome. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, and I'm here on Twitch doing some good old-fashioned science outreach. So that means talking about fossils, talking about natural history, talking about extinction and evolution, and just this grand pageant of life on Earth that we ourselves are a part of in the present day. But life on Earth goes all the way back 4 billion years, or thereabouts. There's a lot of cool stuff that's happened in the interim. We're talking about it here, and we're helping learn about some of this stuff. Digging up a duckbill dinosaur here in Wyoming. So we'll be looking at the quarry in a little bit, but I just wanted to do a quick little introduction and ask how everybody's doing. How is my audio volume, by the way? Is it good? Should I turn it up? Should I turn it down? Let me know. The volume rocker often moves around a little bit when I'm stowing the gear at the end of the day, so let me know. And Paleo Mom, how are you doing? Welcome to Wyoming. Hope you're doing well today. We're having a good day so far. We're trying to close out this site. We've got what is very likely a new species or even a new genus of duck-billed dinosaur here. And we've been working on this for the past 10 days. I've been bouncing around to different sites, but I was at this same site yesterday too. Today we've got a whole bunch of people here and we're really trying to knock this thing out. This is one of our big priorities for this week, so we're trying to get it done ASAP. And audio sounds good? Excellent. All right. Beautiful. Well, welcome, everybody. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the quarry, shall we? Over there real quick. And Lavaca Lucas says, what do we know about sexual dimorphism in dinosaurs? Not a lot. Sexual dimorphism in dinosaurs, males being different from females. We don't have a lot of evidence of that. It's been suggested a bunch of times, but it's never really held up to scrutiny. As far as we can tell, male and female dinosaurs, their skeletons are pretty much identical, as near as we can tell. There might be size differences, and there very well may have been differences in coloration or soft tissue, kind of like you see in modern birds. But just like in modern birds, the skeletons of males and females are indistinguishable. Sometimes the males or the females are a little bit larger, but it's really difficult to tell a very large female from a small male or vice versa, So yeah, try as we might, we haven't really been able to demonstrate in a convincing way sexual dimorphism in like any group of dinosaurs. Anyway, here we are at the quarry. And those of you who wanted to see the dog, Edie is here today. Hey Edie, how you doing? Yeah, quarry dog. And then we've got a large crew here today. It was just like 4 of us yesterday. And, or maybe 5 at the peak. And, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if you count Edie. So, yeah, it's a full quarry today. I don't feel so bad about walking around with the camera as a result, because we're nearly out of space around the quarry. But we're going to be flipping some of these jackets today. We're going to be putting some bottom jacketing too. So you'll get to see some of that, I hope. And Dig Dog, I love this. Yeah, let me go say hi to Edie. Yeah. Hey Edie, can I say hello? Yeah, everyone in chat wants to see you. Yeah. Aww. Yeah. We're lucky to have her here, and we're lucky to have Doug here, who brought her.
Hello.
So yeah, you might remember Doug from the Hadrosaur skin site. He's here helping us out today. Again, this is one of our priorities. We're trying to get this done ASAP. So we've got a big crew here for today. But yeah. Everyone says, what a cute dog. She really is. She really is.
I grabbed it from there. He's like,
Yeah.
or
So yeah, let me go walk around for a little bit, answer some more questions, wait for some more people to trickle in, and then we'll get to talking about this quarry a little bit. And the Hadrosaur skin was so cool to see. Yeah, Casey Snort, you'll be seeing more of that when I go back up there in a few days. Right now, we don't have anybody at that site. We pulled everybody off that to work here, because this is kind of our priority at the moment. And Diet of Beatus says, how long have you been working at this site? This is my 4th day at this site, I think. Sounds about right. We've been here in Wyoming for 11 days now, if you count our arrival day. We've been working here on site we've got 4 different sites running concurrently, and we've been we've been working these sites for 10 days so far this summer. Some of them, like a Ceratopsian site and Turtle Hill, we were working last year as well, so I'd worked at both of those sites last year too. And those are both really exciting. The cool thing about working here in the Late Cretaceous Almond Formation is that just about any dinosaurs that we find stand a very, very good likelihood of being new genera or new species, because of the particular age of the rocks that we're digging in. We don't have dinosaurs from this part of the world from this particular time slot so far, so chances are they're gonna be new. That's usually what happens when you go to a new formation that's been unexplored, is you find new critters, and that's what we think we're doing here. Our Ceratopsian, our horned dinosaur, seems to be brand new. It doesn't look quite like any other horned dinosaur we've ever seen. And these duckbill dinosaurs stand a very high likelihood of being new as well, although they're not quite as distinctive as the Ceratopsian, at least not to our eyes. And let's see. And let's see. Riddler, thank you for the watch streak. Nivy, how are you doing? And thank you, Nivy, holy moly, for the 5 gift subs. Really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. That helps, pay for the satellite internet service here and all that stuff. So thank you very, very much, Nivy. I appreciate your support, and I'm sure those 5 viewers appreciate not having to watch any ads for the next 30 days. I appreciate that very much too, because this is what I do for a living. This is how I pay the bills. Streaming here on Twitch. That's what allows me to go out to places like this in Wyoming and help with field work. This is my full-time job, and thanks to good people like you, I can continue to do this, so thank you for that. Let's see here. And Miss Yvette says, I know birds ingest mineral deposits. Do you know if dinosaurs would ingest that? It depends. Some birds will ingest grit to help them digest things, so like the idea of like gastroliths. Some birds, like chickens, have a gizzard, which is like a muscular, sort of a stomachy thing, that they kind of use to grind up some of their food, so they'll ingest grit for that. There's an old idea that some dinosaurs would have done the same thing, especially sauropods, but that idea has kind of fallen out of favor recently. We don't really think sauropods did that anymore. But there may have been other dinosaurs that had gastroliths too. It might be the same, or it might be something different from like the gizzard that birds have. It might not be homologous to that. I don't know enough about this to really talk on it with any degree of real confidence. So anyway, if you would like more information about this idea, just, Wikipedia, look up gastrolith or gizzard, and you'll get some information on that there. And let's see. And thank you, Casey, for your mod work. Appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah. And yep, but satellite it is. There you go. And the biologist. Let me go show you. Yeah. And Lavaca Loca says, how likely is it that dinosaurs were warm or lukewarm blooded? Very, very likely. So the general consensus nowadays is that most dinosaurs, if not all dinosaurs, would have been endothermic, warm-blooded, which meant that they could generate their own body heat from the food that they ate. Unlike, say, a lizard or something, which might, lizards are what we call ectothermic. So they have to get their body heat from an external source, from like sunning themselves on a rock or something like that. They heat and cool themselves by kind of moving to different areas to let the ambient temperature warm them up or cool them down. Unlike mammals or birds, or a few other critters that regulate their own temperature internally. We think dinosaurs did that. We've got multiple lines of evidence that show that. Everything from the histology that shows their growth rates and gives information about their metabolism to just like their general anatomy, respiratory system, stuff like that. That all points to being warm-blooded. Although there's still dispute about certain dinosaur groups, like, for instance, ornithischians, stegosaurs, ankylosaurs, ceratopsians, ornithopods, etc. Maybe they were partially ectothermic or something. But it seems like dinosaurs are a very diverse group and would have had a diversity of different metabolisms. But for the most part, dinosaurs seem to have been mostly warm-blooded. Yeah. Here's our satellite dish right here. There's our router and our solar panels that are powering everything. So that's the reason I can broadcast to you from way out in the middle of nowhere here. Pretty cool, right? How lucky are we? And Danny's live. Yes, indeed, Lordy. 49 months. Holy cow. That's actually longer than I've been streaming. I don't even know how that's possible. But wonderful. I hope you're doing well, Lordy. It's good to see you. And we also got some more gift subs, didn't we? Thank you, Victorious, for those 3 gift subs. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah. Zoxa says, I love your work. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's good to have you here. Let me know if you've got any questions. Yeah, and thank you for the hype train, too. Awesome. This is fantastic. Yeah. And Anonymous says, how do you know it's a hadrosaur? Have you found the skull or something that makes it clear it was from a hadrosaur? Yes, and luckily we've even got Ethan with us here today. We can have him talk about that. He's our expedition lead here, and he originally made this identification. So let's see if we can bother him for a second and have him talk about that. Looks like he's busy at the moment, but when you get a minute, Ethan, we've got a question from chat for you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Were your viewers interested in an update on the Hadrosaur skin site?
Yeah, sure. Sure, James, yeah.
So, hello. So I can talk a little easier.
Sure thing, yeah.
So I've been working at that site for about a little over a week now, and we've made a lot of progress so far.
Nice.
A lot of it's under really hard sandstone, but recently we were able to dig deep enough and cut away a lot of the slabs to where we actually exposed some bone about 10-ish feet or so from the edge.
Nice. You moved a lot of overburden there.
A ton of overburden.
Yeah. Nice work. Nice work.
Yeah, we were throwing all the overburden in this little river bedway, and you can't even tell that it was a river anymore. It's just so much.
Oh
there.
man, disrupt that flow. That's funny. Nice. Yeah, we're excited to see that. We'll probably be there in the next couple days or so. But yeah, everybody got pulled off that site to come here for today, so that we can really knock this thing out, because this is a high priority. Yeah. Is it a good time, Ethan, to ask you about how you identified this as a hadrosaur in the first place? We had a question about that.
This big bone is a tooth-bearing bone.
Yeah.
So this piece was found on the surface, and there's actually teeth exposed on the other side, and they glued right back into place there. And if you follow this bone into the rock, it dives into here, and you can actually see a bunch more tooth sockets way down in there. They're hard to see, but they're in there. And so there's another bone parallel to it that looks very similar, probably the other side of the jaw. We're not sure if it's the upper or lower jaw. But then that comes all the way down here. All these that are likely parts of the rest of the skull. The skull going straight down into the rock here. But we'll have to figure that out later.
Nice. Cool. Thanks, Ethan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't be coming over here too much today because it is crunch time. We're moving resources around to try and get this site done as quickly as possible. But yeah, if you've got any other questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'm all ears for the next couple hours. And thank you, Mr. Christoph, for those gift subs. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. Anonymous says, wow, all that based on that bit of bone and some teeth? I mean, that's usually all we need when we're working on dinosaurs. Different kinds of dinosaurs have got very distinctive morphologies. So you sometimes find just a few pieces and you can tell what sort of a critter it is, what general family of dinosaurs it belongs to. And so here in this formation, given that this is late Cretaceous North America, we kind of already have an idea of what the roster of different dinosaur groups should be that we have represented here. Not necessarily the different species, but the different general kinds of dinosaur. So we expect to find duckbill dinosaurs, absolutely, and we've got some. We expect to find ceratopsians, horned dinosaurs, and we've got some of those too. We expect to find ankylosaurs, maybe leptoceratopsids, pachycephalosaurs, ornithomimosaurs, tyrannosaurs, and we don't really have any of those guys yet. At least nothing really solid so far. But we've got duckbills, we've got horned dinosaurs, and that's a really, really good start, especially since nobody's named any dinosaurs from this particular geological formation. This is new. This is, a missing piece of the puzzle that we're helping to find and slot in there. So it's important work that we're doing out here, for certain. And the biologist says, at what point would you know it's a new species? How different would it need to be? That is something that paleontologists argue about all the time. Lumpers and splitters and all that. You probably know about that, Anne. Yeah. Here, it's very likely that we've got new species or new genera just because anytime you find a new geological formation, you're going to find new dinosaurs in it, typically. So we expect that to be the case anyway, but we're going to take these back to the laboratory. These fossils will be cleaned and prepared and studied, and then they'll be distinctive enough, we hope, from dinosaurs that we already know about, that it'll warrant naming some new species or some new genera. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. It depends, we could get into real specifics about, which different skull bones would need to be distinctive in order to distinguish them from, say, other, closely related dinosaurs, other duck-billed dinosaurs. But, I don't know. It's kind of useless to speculate about that right now because everything's still in the ground. We can't really see most of it yet. And we won't be able to until we get these back to the laboratory. We're not cleaning all of these fossils completely while they're out here in the field because this is not a controlled environment. There's wind blowing, there's bugs flying around, there's, sudden thunderstorms that come in, all that stuff. We've got a rainstorm right there. Hopefully that doesn't hit us. Hopefully that's going that way. These are not controlled conditions out here. Our purpose here is to get these fossil bones out of the ground as safely as possible, as quickly as possible, get them back to the laboratory where they can be studied under controlled conditions. If that makes sense. And, yeah. And let's see here. From Sarcasm, thank you, Claire, for reposting. How do you guys tell how old the bones are? Is that through, half-life radiation calculation? Kind of. Yeah, so we do radioisotope dating. So looking at radioactive isotopes and figuring out how much they've decayed. But we can't do that for these bones themselves because they don't have those radioactive isotopes in the bones. What we have to do is look in the surrounding rock for ash bed layers. Like if a volcanic ash was deposited, stuff that comes up from under the surface of the Earth is often radioactive. You've got radioactive isotopes in there that slowly decay. And so if we find an ash bed, we can take a sample of that, and it's kind of like reading an hourglass. We can tell how much of the original daughter isotope, or parent isotope there is, how much of the daughter isotope. We can tell how long that hourglass has been going, so to speak. That tells us how old the rock is. And if we're really lucky, we find an ash layer above a fossil site and below it, too. So you can kind of bookend it. You can bracket that site and say it's between 73.6 and 73.1 million years old, or something like that. But based on what we know right now, without having really good ash dates, these rocks are about 73 million years old. So we do have some ashes from here, and we will be dating them, and that's going to be exciting to get a solid number on how old the dinosaurs are in this formation, approximately. And let's see. And Vanishment This World says, have you ever dug up a velociraptor? I have not. Velociraptor only really occurs in Mongolia, and I've never been to Mongolia. But I've dug up other dinosaurs that are related to Velociraptor. We've got some dromaeosaur bits that we dug up in the Hell Creek and in the Judith River Formation. I found teeth of a dinosaur, probably like Sauronitholestes, which is very close to Velociraptor. So those kinds of animals were living in this environment, but just not Velociraptor itself, just very close relatives of it from the same family. That makes sense. And let's see here. Mr. Christoph, thank you again for those gift subs. Additional gift subs. Excellent. And what have you found in the previous 3 days of digging in that spot? Watched you a few days ago? That is a good question. Oh, and let's see. Oh, Ken just texted me. Hang on a second. Yeah. Let me get back to him. Thanks, Ken. We've got a severe weather alert. Yeah. Here, let me... Hey, Ethan. Ethan, here, come here a second. If you don't mind. Got a severe weather alert that Ken just sent me. When did you see it? It doesn't look like we've got anything
West
heading
Central.
directly in our direction, but...
West Central is exactly where we are.
Yeah.
So
We could have some more weather today. We'll see. We'll see. I doubt that's going to hit us. But, what's that?
You're our weatherman.
Oh, yeah. I'm keeping track of it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and thank you, Ken, if you're watching. Appreciate that. Saving our skins here. Yeah. Let's see. Scrolling. Fletcher Sway says hello all the way from Sweden. Well, hello, Fletcher. From Wyoming. Out in, I don't know, Wild West, Rocky Mountain region of the United States. It's good to have you here. So far, that really looks like it's moving that way, but that tip of it could hit us there. There is a chance I'll have to truncate the stream here if we get some. And there, yeah, we've got some other curtain of rain right there. That might hit us too. Although it looks like it's going to be brief. I might be able to just kind of hunker down behind that ridge. And as long as I've got the router and the battery pack under a tarp or something, those are water sensitive. They should be okay, I think. Yeah. And Lavoca says wind picking up is never a good sign for weather. That's a constant here. The wind is always doing its thing in Wyoming, which is kind of nice because when it gets still, it gets too hot. And Woodmaker, that Psittacosaurus that you've seen, there are hundreds like it in China. The one that's been studied and published on is that's one that was basically stolen from China and then like smuggled into Europe, and then there have been a bunch of papers written on it. It's my understanding, at least. But in China they've got so many more, and some of them are even better. And what's Ken say? Could still get some wins, yeah. Okay. Let me reply. Copy that. Yeah. And could the rain mess up a dig? Like, would you need to wait for it all to dry up again? Yeah, if it rains too much and the matrix around the bone gets too soggy, it could be bad, I'm not sure how much of that is going to hit us. We'll probably get a little bit of rain, but it doesn't look like it's going to sustain for very long. So I might just duck behind one of those ridges there after covering up the router and the solar battery. And Little Carrot says, when you find them, how do you know they're dinosaurs and not another thing? Very interesting. So it's pretty easy in this particular geological formation, because the only big animals we're going to get are dinosaurs. If you find large bones, they're guaranteed to be dinosaur bones, because there were no other big animals on land during the late Cretaceous. You might get maybe a large crocodilomorph, like Deinosuchus or something, but these are very clearly not Deinosuchus bones. So it's pretty obvious they're from a dinosaur. Dinosaurs were the biggest of the land animals during the Mesozoic. They're the biggest land animals that ever lived. But if you're looking in rocks from this age, and there are large bones, they're gonna be dinosaurs. There's nothing else they can be. And Spectre says, can you use carbon dating? No, carbon dating doesn't work on these rocks because carbon-14, the half-life for it is too short. You have to use other radioactive isotopes, argon-argon or potassium-argon or other dating methods like that with radioactive isotopes that have got a much longer half-life. Does that make sense? You might be use uranium lead too. And let's see. And very cool, Dinosaur Dave. Awesome. Sounds like you're having a good time. It's a good time down there in Strya. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Yeah. And let's see. And Deathsaurus is what you're saying. There are lots of amazingly preserved things in China with skin and everything. Absolutely, 1,000,000%. China is kind of rapidly overtaking the United States in terms of dinosaur research and new dinosaur finds. It's rapidly overtaking the United States in a lot of areas. But yeah, there are incredible fossil sites in China that they rival anything else in the entire world. They really blow anything else in the entire world out of the water. Just this morning, early this afternoon, I got a call from Jim Kirkland, and we were talking for a little bit, and he mentioned this amazing dinosaur site in China. It's like Dinosaur National Monument times 10. Imagine the fossil quarry wall at Dinosaur National Monument, but it's 1 kilometer long. Yeah, there are so many cool things in China, and they're really pumping a lot of resources into fossil science in that country. That's one of the reasons why I think they will surpass the United States before too long, because they're really making sure to, using a lot of resources to drive paleontology forward in that country. Can't wait to visit. That's going to be awesome once I finally get to go. And are able to search for fossils in Yellowstone and Teton. So those are our national parks, Crazy Horse. And so we don't have permits to go to national parks right now. We're focusing on federal land and some private land too, out here in western Wyoming. The rocks really aren't the right age in places like Yellowstone, or even I think Grand Teton. We're not really going to find dinosaurs there because the rocks are not of the right age for that. But out here in western Wyoming, in like the southern part of western Wyoming, we do have rocks of the right age, and that's pretty exciting. Nobody's really worked this stuff before to the extent that we are, and we're finding some great stuff. Ghosty Lane says, I love how much I learn in these streams. That makes me happy to hear, Ghosty Lane. Thank you. That's the whole point. It's awesome. And how is China doing in the quality of research and freedom to work published for the scientists there? Pretty darn well. I mean, I would say in some ways much better than the U.S. in the sense that there's more funding for that kind of a thing. And it's, there's just more resources for scientists to be able to do their work. Yeah, I don't know. I've not personally been to China, and I've only spoken with researchers from China a few times. But we'll talk more about that later in the summer when we've got some other colleagues on stream who have worked in China. And, yeah. Not planning to do anything Idaho this year, HD. No, not yet. Yeah. There may be some other plans that materialize, but it doesn't look like they're going to be in Idaho. And Sunset Sass has reached out to our library director here in Sapulpa, Oklahoma. Very cool. Hello, Sapulpa. To showcase your stream. Hoping we can get kiddos excited about some new dinosaurs. That's awesome, Sunset Sass. Well, let me know what comes about with that. And, very cool. Very cool. Just felt a raindrop here. Yep, we got some rain up in those clouds. But are they moving this way now? Those clouds moving this way? Shoot. The weather here can be very unpredictable. So trying to predict what's going to happen is sometimes a fool's errand. You've just got to be ready to move as conditions change. I think we might get lucky here. We might not get rained on at all. We'll see. And from Little Big Yin, thank you, Claire Burr. What's the most interesting dinosaur you've dug up, and what made it so interesting to you? Oh boy. I found what's hopefully a new species of horned dinosaur in Montana back in 2012. And that's really interesting because it's new. And, well, it's interesting to me because I found it. I can't tell you too much about it yet, but it's exciting stuff. And hopefully it'll be published before too long. I actually need to talk to one of my co-authors about that to see where the project is standing currently. And Navoa says, do the people who allow you on private land have any claim to what you find? It depends. Under different circumstances they can. There have been situations where private landowners have allowed paleontologists to prospect and collect fossils on their land only to turn around and say, like, oh, nope, this is mine, actually. You know, take backsies. It's kind of a nightmare scenario. That's why we, all things being equal, we prefer to work on public land, on federal land or state land, because you know what you're dealing with there. But we've been very lucky dealing with some private landowners too, and they've been very good to us, so yeah, we are grateful. And we're proud to be working out here in Wyoming. This has been wonderful. And when are you going to be back in the office, says T-Manth. I'm going to be back in the office for 2 weeks this summer, so beginning of July. From about July 1st to about July 15th, I'll be back home. I will probably not be streaming every weekday during that time, but I'll be streaming at least a few times. I've got a bunch of other stuff to take care of. I've got some manuscripts to work on. I've got some illustrations to do. All kinds of stuff like that. But I will be back in the office in, let's see, today's June 10th. And so yeah, in about 21 days, in 3 weeks, I'll be back in the office for a brief window. And then I'm back out to Utah to dig fossils with Jim Kirkland and Don DeBlue and Ethan Cowgill near Moab, Utah. And let's see. And remember Sue the T-Rex? Don't remind me, Deathsaurus. Yeah. Is Sue the Tyrannosaurus still getting heat because of that dispute? Well, not the specimen herself, but you know, that's don't get me started on that whole debacle. Yeah. And Little Carrot says, with dinosaurs, how do you know which bone belongs to which dinosaur? Well, hopefully you find the bones together in what we call an associated skeleton. So you could have multiple dinosaurs in the same place, and that has led to some confusion in the past, where bones from different critters get jumbled up. Doesn't look like that's happening here, but we've got a good enough idea about which general kinds of dinosaur have which kinds of bones, and it's hard to mix things up nowadays. It does still happen very occasionally, but it's not like it was in the olden days where mistakes like that happened all the time. We've got a good enough idea of the anatomy of different dinosaur groups that sort of mistake is very rare and very much frowned upon. And hi to you too, Relo Rolo. And do you have a method to donate funds to feed the crew on digs? Asked Warehouse Rat. Yeah, you could donate to the Ko-Fi I have here, which I think doesn't even have a fee. I think all of the money goes to me and to the crew. So if you put a note in there that you'd like to buy some food for the crew or something, I'll make sure that happens. And this is easily turned into one of my favorite streams. Cody Shibi, I appreciate that. Welcome. It's good to have you here. Thanks for the kind words. And Ava Little says, isn't Brontosaurus a dinosaur which is made out of different dinosaurs? No. That's often like the popular account of that, is that, oh, Brontosaurus was named because they stuck a Camarasaurus head on an Apatosaurus body. That's not how it went down. It turns out the same dinosaur was named twice by mistake, given 2 different names, like different skeletons of the same kind of dinosaur, the same genus of dinosaur. And then the different head thing was just on a museum mount. So that was just in the museum. That doesn't actually have anything to do with, like, the interpretation of that animal. Not really, at least. Yeah, Elmer Riggs figured this out in 1903, that Brontosaurus is a junior synonym of Apatosaurus. They're probably the same critter. Although in 2015 there was a paper that came out that said, no, those skeletons are different enough that they should be 2 different genera. And so some people still use the name Brontosaurus. They've kind of resurrected that name, but it's a matter of dispute. We're still trying to figure this stuff out, you know? There's no, it's not immediately super obvious what's going on. It takes a lot of work to be able to figure out what's what. And you know, that's one of the reasons why this science is so interesting. Yeah. Let's see. We've got 561 people watching right now. Excellent. I'm going to go get some water, because I'm getting a little thirsty. This dry environment up here in the high desert, combined with all the wind and all the talking, kind of sapped me of moisture. So let me go drink some water here. Then maybe we'll talk a little bit about duckbill dinosaurs. Pull out a diagram and show you. Oh, and I got to be very careful not to walk immediately in front of the satellite dish, or the signal will cut out. Keep doing that, or I've done that in previous summers. Gotta make sure I don't keep doing that. Where's my water bottle? There we go. Well, it looks like the rain missed us. That's good. Okay. Let's see. He lent us some Chimeras. Very funny Crimson Carnotaurus. And Kid Sorcerer wants to know, do you think Triceratops did dances for their mates? Maybe. We don't have direct evidence of ceratopsids doing that. Horned dinosaurs like Triceratops. But we do have evidence of theropod dinosaurs doing a kind of mating dance, kind of like certain birds do today. Picture sage grouse or prairie chicken kind of dancing at their lek sites, doing like mating displays. We've got fossil footprints of dinosaurs that show these like weird scratches just repeatedly. Like they're repeatedly scratching at the ground in the same way that like sage grouse do. So we think that might be what they were doing there, is doing like a mating dance. It's been called a dinosaur dance floor, that particular site. I think there's one in Colorado, and I think there's one down in Argentina that both show the same kind of behavior. Up in Colorado, I think it was like a Carcharodontosaur, similar to like maybe Acrocanthosaurus that was doing this. It's cool stuff. Yeah. Miss Yvette says that looks bad behind you. Well, that's past. You know, the weather doesn't come from that direction. It comes from that way. So we don't have to worry about that. Yeah. And now we know how to do the dinosaur. There you go, Deathosaurus. Yeah. Yeah. And let's see, from Little Carrot, let me see if I can answer that question. Whoop. Oh, Jim Kirkland. Jim, have you got a different account on your phone than on desktop? 3 Apatosaurus species and 3 Brontosaurus species. Yeah, I read Emmanuel Schopp's paper. I don't work on sauropods, so I don't really have a horse in that fight. But, you know, just splitting everything up into different taxa, I don't know, you know? Especially when you got to consider stratigraphy, and so many of those older historical sites don't have good strat. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time on stream, hopefully.
Ontogeny.
When we're in Utah. If a meteor like a rock and fire cremates within the explosion of cremated the bones and the stuff. So, Little Carrot, Earth is a big planet, and the asteroid that hit at the end of the Cretaceous was not nearly as big. It was big, about the size of San Francisco, but that's tiny compared to the surface, the entire surface of the Earth. If the asteroid had been big enough to just cremate everything on Earth's surface, our ancestors would not have survived. The ancestors of modern turtles and crocodiles and mammals and birds and everything else, they wouldn't have survived either. Yeah, you got to consider the scale there. And also, yeah, it's, I don't know, if something had struck with that kind of force, there wouldn't be much Earth left, So, yeah. I'd recommend, if you want to learn more about the asteroid impact hypothesis and the extinction of the non-bird dinosaurs, there's some really good documentaries that you can watch. There's an excellent one from Howard Hughes Medical Institute, HHMI. If you search HHMI extinction, you'll find it. Maybe one of the mods can find that video and put a link in the chat. I believe that the title is The Day the Mesozoic Died. Excellent documentary about this. And I think it's like 20 minutes long. Really, really nice, like, kind of video, perfect for classroom settings and stuff. Check it out. It's good stuff. There you go. Thank you, Claire. Quick on the draw there. Beautiful. Yeah. Good stuff. Anyway, let me know if you've got any more questions here. Yeah. Let's see if I missed anything. And reapply the lip balm. I will, Ava Little. I will. Don McLean's famous hit, Will 6-2. If you want to sing in that way, you can. And yeah, let me the HHMI. Good stuff. Science Streams, how are you doing? Welcome, Valent. I hope you're having a good day wherever you are right now. We're having a great day out here in Wyoming. It's bright and sunny. You can hear the meadowlarks. Storms have passed us by and not hit us. Excellent. We're doing well here. We are doing well. Geeks Tour says we need more streams like this across a variety of fields of discipline. Nice to learn stuff. I agree, Geekscore. It would be wonderful if we had more subject matter experts, who were doing live streams like this. I think this sort of outreach, I think it serves an interesting purpose. Being able to have these live interactions like this is really cool, and it. I feel like it kind of brings the science to life in a way that a video or something is cool too, but you don't get that live interaction. It doesn't feel as personal or as immediate. This is, real boots on the ground science here that we're doing, and it's really neat to be able to share that. So I'm glad you're here for it. Reapply some lip balm with SPF. I'd be real careful to take care of my lips because I got them sunburned last summer, being here at like 7,000 feet elevation. There's not as much atmosphere as I'm used to between me and the sun. So, yeah, some of those softer bits can get sun damaged. And yes, lips can get sunburned very much as blue skies, often under blue skies. Yeah. And Balint says, we are truly blessed to have a trained, knowledgeable, field expert paleontologist on Twitch. Lots of armchair experts, but having a real expert is amazing. Balint, I appreciate that. Thank you. Same very much could be said of yourself and Lita over on Science Streams. If any of you are not yet following Science Streams, you're missing out. Balint and Lita are a husband and wife scientist team. They are molecular and systems biologists. They work in genetics. They work on fruit flies and ants and flatworms and all kinds of really, really cool critters. Yeah, and they're publishing researchers, doing all kinds, doing really, really important work in the laboratory and really important outreach on Twitch. It's always a good time over at Science Streams, so give them a follow right now. You will not regret it. Did you guys find anything last year? Absolutely. At Node 27, 2 of the sites that we're working right now are sites that we discovered. No, one of the sites that we're working right now was discovered last year. The Ceratopsian site, our horned dinosaur, was found last year by paleontologist Nick Longrich from the University of Bath in England. He was out with us for a week or two, and yeah, he found a Ceratopsian, which stands a very high likelihood of being a new species or even a new genus. So that's one of our priorities for this year, is to get that thing out of the ground, get as many bones out as we can. So that's a few miles away. There's a crew, one of our crews working there right now. Exciting stuff. T-Rex's 119th anniversary. Could you rank every T-Rex design in media? That would take weeks, Eddie Scarin. There have been so many Tyrannosaurus depictions in popular media. It's the most heavily reproduced dinosaur in media. It would take me a month to do that easily, and we wouldn't even be nearly comprehensive. I don't know. We'll see. That'll be, I forget when that was during the year when Osborne published on Tyrannosaurus in 1905 or was it 1902? I think it's 1902. It might be 05. Somebody let me know. Yeah. And yeah. If the T-Rex is the most reproduced dinosaur in media, what is the least? Oh, there are dinosaurs that have never appeared in popular media. There are dinosaurs that have been named that there are 0 illustrations of anywhere ever produced. Yeah. So there are a lot of dinosaurs that we would be tied at 0. And Head of Broccoli says, so you're supervising digs that use some unpaid college labor. What you're talking about are volunteers? And yes, we have volunteers here. Of various walks of life, different ages. Yeah, maybe we'll go say hello to some of them right now. Oh, and we've got some jacketing about to start. Excellent. How you doing, Spencer?
Doing great.
Yeah. I don't think we've showed off your cool shirt on stream yet. Oh, can we take a look at that?
Yeah, Jurassic Park fit.
Nice. Yeah. I'm sure Chad's really gonna like that. And it looks like that, I think it's Stan's skull, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
With the teeth, all pulled out. Yeah, nice.
Thanks.
Cool. And Twitcher 2012, the Rex part of Tyrannosaurus Rex, that's Latin or maybe Greek, or maybe Latinized Greek for king. It's undoubtedly the most famous dinosaur-specific epithet, the species name. There's a number of different dinosaurs where they've got Rex as the species name. Tyrannosaurus Rex, Ophnelia Rex, which might now be Nanosaurus Rex, Edmarca Rex. Shoot, Bacher really liked publishing Rex as a species name. Yeah. And Atnos says, how do you become a volunteer? Well, in this case, people who contacted the program and asked, or people who met some of us in real life at various events and stuff, and they happen to be in the area, and it might benefit them to be part of a dig like this because maybe they're trying to go into paleontology, maybe they're already in paleontology and have some skills to provide, stuff like that. But there's a number of different programs, different field crews, different museums and stuff like that around the country and around the world that you might be able to help out as a volunteer. Yeah, if you, yep, we already got the participate thing. Excellent. Thank you, whoever posted that. Yeah. Or related to someone. There you go, Ava Little. Yeah, we've got several of Ethan's relatives here. There's Ethan's dad there with the paper towel. And then, yeah, and Josh here eating the chips is Ethan's brother. How are those chips? It's just superb. I had some of those earlier.
They're so good.
Did you bring those?
I did.
Thank you, Josh.
You're
Those were
welcome.
excellent.
They are delicious.
Really, really good. Yeah. Josh was doing some more tattooing last night in camp. How many more tattoos did you do last night?
We did 3 more.
3 more. Nice. So who is that?
I think we got Spencer,
Yeah.
and then we got Ken, but Ken actually had to leave just a moment.
Yeah, Ken took off a little while ago just before the stream
We already
started.
miss him.
He's got to go back to work, yeah.
Yeah.
But he'll be back next weekend, we hope.
And we can't wait.
Yeah, yeah. It's always good to have Ken here.
Yeah, so Spencer, Ken, and then Colin.
Nice.
Who I
Yeah.
think is also
Cool.
gone.
Yeah, Colin's at the Ceratopsian site today. I think he leaves tomorrow. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, what is that?
I think it's 7 so
7
far.
total.
Yeah.
Nice.
Can we see yours, Luke? What's it looking like right now?
Great.
Yeah?
Got my bandage on it. Keep it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Bandages are holding up nicely.
Beautiful. Almond tattoo. So yeah, if any of you are over in the Salt Lake area and you're looking to get a tattoo, contact Josh here.
Please do.
Yeah. What was it again? We should have that from yesterday. But it was,
Atticus.Warner.
yeah,
.tattoos.
on Instagram, right? .instagram.com or whatever.
If you mention that you got to me through this chat,
Yeah?
I'll give you a discount.
Awesome. Awesome. He's really, really good, by the way. The, what do you call it? A needle, tattoo gun? What's the device?
I use a tattoo machine.
Tattoo machine. It's impressive. It's a rotary one.
It's a
It's
rotary
so
machine.
quiet.
Yeah. The advancement in technology for tattooing has changed the game quite a bit, and I'm pretty grateful for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, if you're in the market for a tattoo and you're somewhere in the Rocky Mountain West, seek out Josh.
Please do.
Yeah. Yeah. Hype Twitch get discount. There you go. Yeah.
Maybe tell them $50 off.
$50 off. Not too shabby. Wow. Excellent. Yeah, he's one of the best. I don't say that lightly. Yeah.
You're also one of the best the way you do.
Ah,
shucks.
Aw.
Golly gee.
Oh, so we've got some jacketing going on right here. Ethan's got big old strip of burlap. And just kind of reinforcing the top of that jacket there, looks like, for the flip. I think we've already got a couple layers on there, but...
There's a huge gap on the side.
Gotcha. Okay. Nice. Yeah, and look at Edie. Just enjoying the day. Having a good day, Edie? Yeah?
Edie Town.
Oh. Yeah. And will I get the bucket tattooed on me, not a tattoo on the bucket?
The bucket. Good idea.
I don't know.
Barn and brown bucket.
I'm probably not going to get a tattoo this year, but we'll see.
Do you have tattoos?
I don't. No. None yet. I had one scheduled right before COVID, but
Yep.
yeah.
Really cool idea.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was kind of loath to talk about that on stream yesterday because somebody else is probably going to take that idea.
Talk about it.
Yeah, I already did. It's too late.
Well, there you go.
And yep, Salt Lake City area, exactly. Rachel Darling Endeavors, yep. Oh, and Kennedy says, as someone who does some leather work on the side, tattoo machines are now used with special tips for some detailed leather work. Interesting. I'd never heard of that before. Cool.
You can actually use a rotary machine for. It's not very good for it, but you can use it for like dribbling. You can use it on wood
Nice.
and leather. You just have to make sure that your motor's strong enough.
Nice. Now you want to get your hands in there. Just get all the goo onto here in the bucket.
So here Ethan's teaching James how to do a jacket like this.
We want
Doing
to
a
fight all the air bubbles.
lot of training of new volunteers here.
Rub it till it's gone. And don't use the tips. Don't go like that. Kind of just like rub it. Yeah, your whole palm of your hand. Nice. Very cool.
Were there any bones over on the other side of these roots? Over in here?
Not low down in C2, but there's fragments that probably ordered from higher up that are still there.
Miss Yvette says, are we going to see a flip? Yeah, that's the idea. This one right here, we're going to be flipping this ASAP. So that'll be fun. Probably undercut that a bit more, at least. But yeah. Do you want me to start undercutting some of this, Ethan?
Yeah.
This one here?
Great.
I could do that. Yeah. Set our camera down right here.
It's not ideal, but start to hard.
And let's use this.
Do you want to smooth it up? Because we're going to carry this. We don't want it to cut up. Okay? So every time you take your hands off, it kind of like makes a little ridge. So you see how like my palm is kind of making it all.
So what I'm doing right now is called undercutting. Get ready to flip this over, but in order to do that, we got to cut away at this pedestal here.
Wait. In a few minutes, it's alright.
And I didn't draw that hand for the north. That was Josh who did that. I like it. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Make sure there's no bone in here.
He's digging it up. Very good. So now it's just like, this was all dirt exposed before. Now that we have stuff going all the way to the bottom, when we chisel in and slip it, it's not like this jagged.
And I am using an oyster knife. This is not one of mine, but that's one of the ones that, Chad, you helped purchase here, I believe. I think this is one of the ones from the Amazon wish list, so thank you for supplying the tools that we're using to dig up these dinosaurs. What's that?
Do you have an ability to charge cell phones on you?
Yeah, you got a cord?
Do you have a cord? I think so.
Yeah, go plug it in over there. Just press the USB button on the thing so that, make sure the USB is on and it'll charge up. Yeah, you bet.
I think I might have one on me.
We're getting enough sun right now that I don't think we'll exhaust it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That'll do. This is just fine to me.
If I have a cord.
Yeah.
I need to get a picture of this. So when stuff hardens, does it just kind of brush off, or is it hard to clean up?
You need to saw it open. It's very hard. Get you the plaster?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to like saw it open.
Okay.
Yeah, we generally use like a cast cutter for that in the lab.
Angle grinder.
Ethan, is the truck open?
Probably not, but I have keys. Come get them.
Yeah, let's see here. Dino Dax, thank you for the gift sub. I appreciate that. Yeah.
There should be any second now. I'll click on this guy. It's about ready. Then we'll flip it today. Hopefully get it home. Okay. So this is how I take my hands off. I kind of just hold this. Now there's no sharp edges.
Yeah.
It's looking a bit easier. It should be a really easy flip.
Hey Luke.
If we do this right.
Hey Luke.
Yep.
I'm guessing we already know the undercutting isn't going to discover more bones at this point. So it's always a possibility, Gigs Tour, but the bone layer seems to be a lot higher than this. So like up here, there's always a chance there's something down here, but a lot of this is like unconsolidated stuff, not the sort of thing that you'd find bone in. A lot of this is like a rooted horizon, so modern plants, you know, from the last couple hundred years, put their roots down through this and kind of turn some of this rock into soil in the process. So we're just kind of cutting through that, not expecting to find any bone down here, but always got to be careful. This is why I'm doing this with small hand tools and not with a big pick or something like that. It pays to be cautious.
It's kind of hard to get a lift underneath this.
I would basically get, instead of undercutting here, I would just like train it as low as you can. Yeah, and then once it's like
There we go.
you have like freedom to like, because this is
Looking good.
that could stay.
So you'll see right here, this is rock. We got a big blocky sandstone right here, and this is basically soil. And you see the little roots hanging down from our modern plants that we're growing at this site. Plants in this environment have got pretty extensive root systems because it's so dry here. They need to reach way down into the dirt in order to be able to get enough moisture to survive. Which can be frustrating because sometimes they send their roots straight through the fossil bones. I encountered a lot of that in the Hell Creek Formation in particular, out there in like Garfield County, Montana. We've been pretty lucky this year where we haven't really had any dinosaur bones that are just shot through with plant roots, destroyed that way. But it happens.
It wasn't hard to spot.
Anywho,
It just helps prevent like millions of little white bits all over the
just a
place.
little bit more.
The drier it gets, the more it.
Well, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, we're in another one right now. Cool. Jackson, can you dump this bucket
There we go.
and then fill it with another inch and a half of water?
Are there, there's nothing in here, right? That's just your matrix.
Wait, do you mean me?
Sorry, I didn't mean Jackson, my bad.
All right.
But yes, I can do that.
Cool.
Ontogeny.
Be able to cut that down a bit. Maybe I'll work on the other side.
Names to memorize, I get it.
Yeah, 2 Jameses.
Yeah.
Jackson.
And let me look at chat. I got dust all over the phone.
Josh Carter.
Yeah. And so is that the skull? So this is what we call a jacket. So this is made of plaster of Paris. We're mixing up plaster in here. This is a protective cocoon that we put around the fossil bone to get it safely back to the laboratory without crumbling. This is delicate stuff, and so it takes a lot of care to be able to make sure that we can transport it without it getting destroyed. And Atnos says, are you guys just digging to find bones, or do you have like GP? No, so ground penetrating radar does not work on dinosaur fossils like this. It's just not a thing. We found these bones on the surface and then dug in from there. That's how it's done, you know. Might seem old-fashioned, but it's the only way that actually works. And now Luke's going to be applying some separator, some of this stuff up here. Whoa, it's got almost full of dust.
Afterwards, you get your hands super white like this.
Yeah, so that's the after effects of making a plaster jacket.
It's like a bunch of baby powder on your hands, only
Yep.
it sticks.
And it kind of sucks the moisture out of your hands too.
A
So
little bit, yeah.
if you've got lotion back in camp, that might be a good idea. Oh, and there goes our jawbone right there. Ethan's applying some separator to it.
Some good stuff right there.
So we're gonna be jacketing this thing. Let me know if you guys need another set of hands. We've got a lot of people here, I guess.
Will do.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't need it.
And let me know if I'm cramping your style at all, narrating this and sticking the camera in your face and everything.
This wind sucks. All good in the hood.
Cool.
Come on right there.
All good.
So those the white plaster jackets that you see over there, that's what we're just starting up. We don't want them here.
We don't want the plaster.
So Ethan is taking some paper towel,
Paper towel.
or I don't know, I guess in Commonwealth countries you might call that kitchen roll. He's putting some kitchen roll on that, tamping it down with a brush to get it into all the nooks and crannies. And so this is meant to protect the bone, to keep it to keep the plaster from sticking to it. Because that would be a real pain in the butt to try and clean in the lab. We want everything to fit really tightly without actually sticking directly to the surface of the bone, if that makes sense. Hence, we've got kitchen roll, paper towel. And Jim Kirkland says wheelbarrow. Jim, did you make a new account? We don't have a wheelbarrow here.
Not allowed.
Yeah.
Specified in our.
What's that?
Wasn't specified in the access agreement.
Oh, shoot. So I guess, yeah, we can't bring a wheelbarrow up here. So we'll have to be carrying this out by hand. It's a good thing we got a big crew this year, because it's going to take a lot of us. This is going to be a heavy, heavy jacket. That'll be fun.
I think that would work.
And Amethyst Wolf, thank you for raiding in. It's good to have you here. How was your stream? It was really good. Yeah. Welcome, welcome, Raiders. Let me introduce myself real quick. For you and anybody else who just waltzed in, my name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. You probably know already that a paleontologist is a fossil scientist. I study fossils. I study dinosaur fossils in particular. And that's exactly what we're digging up here right now in wild and woolly Wyoming. Wild, woolly, and windy Wyoming. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. We've got a duckbill dinosaur here that we're excavating. And so, kind of documenting this process and walking you through it. As our expedition lead here in the a yellowish shirt, it's Ethan Cowgill,
Now
and he
brownish.
is. I guess it's a brown shirt now, isn't it? Or like maybe a Dijon mustard color shirt. He's applying some separator to this right now. We've got some duckbill dinosaur skull bones in there, and I'm glad you got to see those before this all gets covered up, because we're going to be putting a protective field jacket on this. It's kind of like a, makeshift cocoon that we make to hold everything together, keep it from crumbling while we bring it back to the laboratory.
Just the bone surface.
Yeah, and thank you, Amethyst Wolf. I appreciate that. I'm glad you had a good stream. It's good to have you here. Let me know if you've got any questions about fossil science, about what we're doing here, about the history of life on Earth, all that good stuff. I'm here to answer it for you, here to, talk you through it. This is the best way I know of how to do science outreach, and it's an honor to be able to share all this with you. Let's see. Is Ethan on this dig? That's Ethan right there, Kennedy. You remember Ethan. Kennedy donated a bunch of stuff to our crew.
Thank you, Kennedy.
Yeah.
Happy to have you back. I think we need an extra fewer set of hands on this for now. And then if we yell at you guys to come in and help, then we can.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep your ears open. I mean, it will get a little crazy in a minute, but I'll be right.
You got the rest of that?
Yeah. And soft tissue and fluid blood. So, patent tanker, that's not correct. We don't have any dinosaurs that have been found with liquid blood in them. That's not a thing. But we do occasionally. It's been extremely rare, but there have been bits of things like collagen, proteins, stuff like that, but only under very specific circumstances, and only with like very careful examination is any of that apparent. And yeah.
Also, Luke.
But yeah.
But that's part
You'll see up here too, we've got these plastic bags. There's all these surface fragments of bone from up here that have eroded out on the surface. So we've been sure to collect all of those, bag them up, and label them so we know where they came from. As you can tell, we've got only the finest, most expensive of scientific equipment here, like, Ziploc gallon bags, scissors, paintbrushes,
Spared no expense.
Yeah, really did spare no expense. Yeah. Nice. You think this whole thing is going to be our jacket, Ethan?
Hard to say. I certainly hope not.
Yeah, because that would be a real
miserable.
bear to carry.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be horrible. But
we'll do what we got to do.
we'll do whatever we have to do for science.
Yep.
And for the fans.
And for the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun at the end of the trip. We should go to the BLM office and just kind of go through all the fossils we collected over the month.
That would be
We'll have,
really
like,
cool.
Hundreds of fossils to just show off.
You actually like do a stream there, or
That'd be fun.
That would be really fun.
That
yeah,
way we could actually see the
I'd love to
fossils
do that.
all kind of ready instead of just like us hunched over piles of rocks.
Exactly. Yeah. Be a nice tally at the end of the summer.
Yeah.
Like, look what we did.
And I haven't seen most of it yet, so it'd be
Yeah.
really exciting.
Just kind of
Excited.
put that up on the fridge. Look, Bob. Look what we did. Look all the dinosaurs we dug up. What about sleds? We really don't want to use a sled on this landscape, too, if we can help it. That would really kind of tear things up. You've got, yeah, it would get caught. You're absolutely right, Doug. Yeah. The terrain's too rough for that. And also, there's all kinds of, like, cool critters. You've got cryptobiotic crust or something like that. There's all kinds of plants. We don't want to hurt those if we can help it. Try and be as low impact as possible here. Because, we all got into science because we're fascinated by the natural world. We don't want to destroy it. We're not here to strip mine the place. We're here to, collect what's important for scientific research and leave as little trace as possible.
Do you have a favorite dinosaur, Danny?
Favorite dinosaur? Shoot, that's one of my most common questions that I get on here. I got a few. I don't know. I'm really fond of Triceratops because I've dug up a bunch of them over the years. Probably like a dozen or two at least. Let's see. Trirarchuncus, a little Alvarezsaur dinosaur.
Okay.
I'm an author on that paper, so that's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, near and dear to me personally, close to my heart. And then Spinosaurids I really like too because I'm working on them.
Spinos rule.
Yeah, they're neat. Yeah, Baryonyx is really cool Spinosaurid, and it's kind of one of the ones that really kicked off Spinosaur research, so that one's close to my heart also.
Yeah.
But yeah, how about you?
It's always been the classic T-Rex.
Yeah.
However, I'm really obsessed with the Therizinosaurus right now.
Oh, Therizinosaurus is really neat.
Yeah, it's really cool.
When it was first described, it was thought that maybe it was a turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the
really
claws are almost like turtle-like. That's where it gets its species name, Therizinosaurus cheloniformis. It means like scythe lizard turtle form. So, yeah.
I feel like Spinosaurus is the most controversial dinosaur in paleontology right now.
It's one of them. I don't know. Outside of like Nanotyrannus or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mean to say that with such scorn. Yeah. And how hot is it there? It's actually nice and cool today. Oh, Auntie Kathy, how are you doing? It's good to have you here. Welcome. Hope you and Uncle Dave are doing well. Yeah, let's see. It says 80 degrees right now. Yeah, not too bad. We had some rain clouds that came in earlier and kind of cooled things off. Made it really humid for a little while, but now that's evaporating, and that's got a nice cooling effect. And we got some wind too, keep the heat down. So, good day. It's a good day to be digging dinosaurs. And let's see. This is one of the coolest channels to lurk in. Well, what are you doing chatting then if you're lurking? Well, welcome to Paleontologizing. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. It's good to have you here. Yeah. And any fossils with endoparasites? I assume ectoparasites would drop off after death? That's a great question. I gotta think about that. Endoparasites.
Yeah, maybe if you could start like getting ready while
I bet you we've got some stuff preserved in amber, like some arthropods that have endoparasites. But I don't know about them personally. I'm just guessing that probably exists. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody think about any fossil examples of endoparasites that we have?
I haven't found any.
Yeah.
I've been looking.
Huh.
Looking hard.
We're also trying hard to avoid accruing or accumulating any endoparasites in ourselves this summer. So making sure to, keep camp nice and clean and do the dishes, wipe down the tables, use sanitizer spray, all that good stuff. And Validante says, thank you for doing such an amazing thing for people. You bet. That's what we're, thank you. And thank you to the crew for letting me, document some of this. Because I think this is pretty special, Yeah. I once got to see a site where I was out that way and the crew were really nice and informative. Well, cool. I'm glad you got to do that. And hopefully we're half as nice and informative too. Yeah. And thank you to whoever updated that command. I appreciate that. We got the correct museum now. Cincinnati Museum Center. Bingo. And I'll hydrate in a few minutes, Miss Caprikill. I don't want to run out of water. But yeah. So it's a really, really important fossil that we've got right here. We've got skull elements in there, and Ethan's taking a peek and thinking about how to best cover this thing to get it safely back to the laboratory. Almost as important, Edie is sitting down, resting for her journey back to the vehicles this afternoon. Just gotta make sure she rests up. She's saving her energy right there.
That'd be pretty good size.
And Herman Munster's shoe says, just stumbled across this stream. Very cook. Rather cool. Thanks. Yeah. I like to think it's a cook stream too. Or cool. Whoop. Nice, Spencer. Good catch. Yeah. Speaking of cooking, Mr. Cowgill has been chefing up some wonderful dinners for us lately, and that's been really nice. We might not have a huge budget out here, but we've been eating pretty well. It's been awesome. Last night he put together this dish. Is that the first time he ever made that, Josh?
Made it up on the spot.
That was awesome. Just made it up on the spot.
Yeah, that side.
Was that awesome? Yeah. So it was like, it kind of reminded me of like cowboy caviar, if you've ever heard of that. It was like beans, sliced up tomato, corn, some sort of sauce, and penne pasta, like kind of cut up. It tasted like a taco mixed with like almost like a potato salad or something like that. It was really, really good. Never had anything quite like that before. So yeah. Yeah. Excellent stuff. And from Little Carrot, what's your take on the dinosaur eggs found a while back with the embryos intact and well preserved? Like it died yesterday? Well, if yesterday were, 90 million years ago, then yeah, they were fossilized. Have you heard anything on that? Yeah, we've got a lot of dinosaur eggs with embryos inside. It happens. It's funny, like dinosaur eggs had been, originally found in France in like the, shoot, I think it was like the 1880s or something like that. And then again in the 1920s in Mongolia. And then we found dinosaur eggs all around the world since then. But it wasn't until the 1970s that anybody found a dinosaur embryo. And that was because Jack Horner decided, like, I'm going to crack one of these eggs open with a hammer and look inside. So it's only really been since maybe the 1990s that we've had the ability to look inside the eggs without cracking them open, with stuff like CT scanning. Yeah, so it's... Yeah. but that sort of thing happens every once in a while. There's a ton of dinosaur eggs, especially from places like China and Mongolia, and a good number of them have embryos inside. So there's maybe a little bit of exaggeration in those headlines, like, oh, this dinosaur egg is super special, looks like it died yesterday. You know, that's not unheard of at all. There's a lot of examples of really, really beautiful embryos inside of dinosaur eggs. That one was particularly well preserved, but, you know, it's nothing ultra extraordinary, I suppose. Yeah. And where are the eggs usually found? What do they look like? Bigger than chicken eggs, I'm guessing. Yes, little carrot. So you might be surprised to learn that the very largest of dinosaurs, who laid some of the largest of dinosaur eggs, their eggs are no bigger than like a soccer ball. Usually smaller than that. There's kind of a maximum size that you can make an egg on land, a hard-shelled egg, before it either collapses under its own weight or the shell is too thick for the embryo to escape, for the, you know, or too thick to be able to effectively breathe, because eggs are, you know, they've got little pores in there. They have to exchange gases with the atmosphere. Different dinosaur eggs have got different dinosaur eggs have different shapes. Drink some water. And yeah, some of them are spherical. A lot of sauropod eggs are like that. Titanosaur eggs tend to be like a sphere shape. Some dinosaur eggs looked almost like chicken eggs, that same kind of shape. And some of them were elongate, you know, like a stretched out oval. A bunch of theropod dinosaur eggs were like that, where they really look like, yeah, they look like a, you know, stretched out oval, really long. Elongatulithus is a genus name of an O taxon, like a genus name of egg. And some of those, like elongate dinosaur eggs, got really, really big, where they'd be like well over 12 inches long. We think that dinosaurs like Gigantoraptor laid eggs like that. Maybe Therizinosaurs too. There was a cover of National Geographic from sometime in the 90s, I think, with a dinosaur egg, and there's a Luis y Hoyos photo. It was a model, I think, of a Therizinosaur egg like that. Cool stuff. Those elongate eggs. Yeah. And let's see. And Mommy Does says, was Takuya featured in the Amazing Dino World Amazon documentary? And the Mosasaur episode? Yes, indeed, Mommy Does. Did you recognize him from that? He told us that the other night. I wasn't streaming that. But yeah, we'll have to watch that clip when I get back to my office, sometime in early July, before I go back out to Utah. Because that'd be cool. And I asked Takuya if he'd want to do an interview sometime about marine reptiles. He just took off this morning with the rest of the Cincinnati crew. They're heading back up north and then back to Ohio. But, you know, he said, like, you know, Danny, you should really do some more marine reptile content on your streams. And I said, Takuya, I will take you up on that. I'll do that, and maybe I can interview you sometime. And he kind of laughed and said, oh, okay. But yeah, let's do that. I think that'd be really cool. I like Takuya a lot. He's a good guy, and man, is he an excellent scientist, knows so much about marine reptiles. That would be awesome. Let's see, scroll down. And was there any nests with eggs in Hell Creek? And Drimmer, the Hell Creek is kind of notorious for not really having eggs preserved. For a long time, there was an idea that, like, oh, dinosaurs didn't nest in the Hell Creek area. They would have nested in the uplands. And so you shouldn't expect to find any eggshell in the Hell Creek, but you do find eggshell. It happens. It's just very rare. It's more likely that the particular environment, like that Hell Creek environment, was just not conducive to eggshell preservation. Maybe it's too acidic or too basic, something like that. But for whatever reason, eggshell just did not survive the fossilization process most times. So eggshell in the Hell Creek is very, very rare. We have no dinosaur nests from the Hell Creek that I'm aware of. I've only ever seen a few fragments of eggshell either in the field or in museum collections from the Hell Creek. Yeah. Let's see. And Nomad Soul says, I'm glad I found this stream. Great content. Thanks, Nomad Soul. I appreciate that. Yeah. Excellent. And yeah, anywho. Good stuff. Oh, so we're mixing up some more plaster here.
My cap is not screwed on, just so everybody knows.
To be able to put some
Want me to screw it on?
some strips onto where we've got our duckbill dinosaur skull there.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Nice.
So
awesome.
James, a good thing to do. Well, never mind.
So Ethan's teaching James how to do some jackets here.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Never mind.
It's a piece of bone
Is that who did?
somebody used as a wood.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That must have been me. That's crazy. I did not
And
know.
Atno says, do you ever find a fossil so much you're like another T-Rex tooth? Tyrannosaurus teeth aren't quite that common, but I've found a few.
All right.
The really common things in, say, the Hell Creek Formation are like Champsosaur vertebrae and gar scales and things like that. You just find them everywhere.
Maybe just throw a piece of burlap on that. Nice job. Okay, big stuff.
Yeah,
This will be the one
I
that
could
goes
go
on
into
the
more
main
detail,
skull
but
bone first, I think.
I want to capture this too. So this particular method of what we call field jacketing, this dates all the way back to the late 1800s. As far as we can tell, the crews of Othniel Charles Marsh, so, you know, the first ever PhD paleontologist in the U.S. His crews devised this method back in like the 1870s or 1880s. And we've been doing it the same way ever since, just because this is the best way to be able to transport fossils like this back to the laboratory without destroying them.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, Doug's right. It just works, you know? So this is an interesting kind of a situation here. Whoop. Let me put that scoop back over the bone. Sure. Right there. And then let me stick a rock on top of that so it doesn't blow away. There we go. So you'll see Ethan, he's using his fingers to kind of work the burlap into there, into all those nooks and crannies. You want as tight a fit as you can get.
Here, Ethan, I'll hand you some pieces.
I'm in a this is a hard thing to do myself, so I am not sure. No, it really kind of. This is just like.
How many things are due to be plaster day? Rabid Rhino, great question. This, that. We're going to be flipping this guy and jacketing the undersides.
It dries us up really fast.
And then we'll probably be doing some of this as well. So like that end of that ironstone right there, the kind of purplish rock, probably be jacketing that too, I imagine. But we'll see. As much, as time allows today and supplies allow, we'll be doing as much as we can. This site's very much a priority for us. What's been my favorite dig site ever? Asked Akunda. Well, you kind of never forget your first. I was lucky enough to have a really cool first field season. I was on the crew that dug up the postcrania of Yoshi's trike, the Yoshi's trike specimen from that site in Garfield County, Montana. It's the Triceratops with the longest brow horns of any Triceratops ever found. And you see it pop up in pop culture every once in a while. It's a really distinctive specimen. Turns out most of them might look like that in the middle Hell Creek. But that was a pretty cool one. We had a big crew that year. 2011. Was working with Museum of the Rockies. And it was a great first field season. But I've been digging dinosaurs and other fossils almost every summer since then. Every summer except for 2020. So this is my 13th summer digging fossils in the field. And this is going to be a big one. Spending a month here in Wyoming, and then nearly a month in Utah from mid-July to mid-August. And I'll be streaming as often as I can.
All right, James.
Yes.
Get in here and get these here
Oh.
burlap. Get them all covered.
Do we have Diatom's attack here? How you doing, Diatoms? Welcome, welcome. We're not so much digging up Diatoms here, but dinosaurs. Slightly larger animals. Nice.
As literally as fast as humanly possible, James. Thank you.
Starting to harden.
Truly as fast as you can.
Stuff's already set
Yeah,
up.
I'll take that.
Doing a big jacket like this is always a team endeavor.
You got it, bro. Oh, no, start with the small one. Oh, that much.
It requires a lot of cooperation. And this is honestly one of my favorite parts of fieldwork is jacketing. Like, you have a really nice jacket, you know, there's a sense of accomplishment. Like, you've built something, you know the fossil is safe for the time being. And it's like, that's, you know, another check mark, another notch. Got another one out of the ground. It's a good feeling.
Yep.
And Melania Obama says, you don't dig up the entire dinosaur usually, just bits and pieces? We get as much of it as we can, but it's extremely rare that you get a skeleton that's all stuck together. Like what we call articulated, where all the bones are in their life positions, all the bones are touching each other. Usually the animal's kind of fallen apart after death, stuff has been scattered around. That's exactly what's happened here. So this is just a smattering of duckbill dinosaur bones that we've got at this site. And we're going to collect as many of them as we possibly can. Whatever's here, we're going to get. But this animal very much fell apart after it died. And why do they wrap in plaster, says Coffee Syrup?
That's the last of it. How would you say that piece of burlap?
So it's in order to keep things from falling apart. So these fossils have been here in the ground for 73 million years. As we're digging them up, we're exposing them to the atmosphere. Things start to degrade. This is a way that we can, you know, put a protective cocoon around it so that we can get it back to the laboratory without it falling apart. And Miss Capri Kel says, how do you decide where to break the jacketed pieces? Has there been any further bones revealed after that? So we try and like lump them into discrete blocks. So hopefully there's gaps in between the bones so that you can create separate jackets and take the thing out in pieces. And we're also very careful to document where everything is in situ. So like we've made quarry maps of this site so we know how all the bones are arranged in the ground because that's useful information. It's useful for both, you know, in the laboratory when you're prepping through, you know where to find the different bones because it's been documented from the excavation part. But also it's important for taphonomic reasons. When we're studying the taphonomy of the site, like the way that, you know, this skeleton was scattered around. Maybe there were scavengers feeding on it. Maybe some tyrannosaurs were eating this dinosaur. Maybe they lost some teeth in it. Maybe we look for tooth barks. You know, we can tell what sort of environment this was deposited in. Like, if this was an ancient river, you know, you might be able to say, oh, well, the water was flowing in this direction because the bones are oriented in such a way with the current. And that way, maybe if we're missing a really important element, we realize that in the lab, and maybe we can come back out here and look where the downstream section would be and see if any of those are down there, that kind of thing. So all of the information that we get here is really, really important. And so that's why it's so vital to do excavations properly and to collect all those data as you're doing it. And Rabid Rhino says, does someone drive the plaster pieces back? Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. So we'll be sending these to Cincinnati, Ohio. Ethan, you're probably going to be renting a truck to be able to bring these up there at some point, right? Yeah.
Behind the old U-Haul.
Get one of the ones with the dinosaur on the side, you know?
Yeah, just so everyone knows which car to rob.
Exactly. Yeah, as one does.
Yeah. Did you know Sue is the biggest Tyrannosaurus Rex? I've seen U-Hauls with like that on the side.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, some of the Canadians certainly don't think so.
Yeah, those liars.
all this talk about Scotty.
T-Rexes are like, it's like being a fisherman, you know? I caught a fish
Yeah.
this big, or
Every time you retell it,
Big.
yeah. The thing was 16 meters long, you know?
every T-Rex you find is a little bigger than the last one.
Oh, yeah.
Suspiciously.
Unless you dig up the smallest one, like me and my crew did, as far as we know. But,
Champa?
yeah, old Chomper Rex, which was originally identified as an alligator in the field
By
Lee Hall. Yeah, 2006, I think. I've told you the story probably a dozen
But
times.
it's a fun story. It's why
It
you
is.
gotta collect everything.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And look through collections too. Denver Fowler was just looking through collections. There's a paper bag in there that says alligator jaw. He's like, oh, look, alligators. I'll look in this. And holy cow, it's a baby T-Rex dentary
Very cool.
with the teeth in it. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
We love a baby Rex.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah.
Little circle over there.
Yeah.
Little gypsum gang.
Yeah. Nice. Anywho, Charlie's Dragon says, you mean you dug up a nano Tyrannus, Danny? Well, let's call it Pico Tyrannus, because it was even smaller. And how much digging is there usually involved? Are bones deep underground? Sometimes, Nomad Soul. Every site is different. That's something that you'll learn doing field work, is that no two sites are exactly the same. You've always got different stuff going on. And so, at this particular site, there's not a ton of what we call overburden. Overburden is all the dirt and rock and crud above the bone layer. This was pretty much right there on the surface, which is really nice. We didn't have to do a ton of overburden here. But I've worked at sites where we've had to move literally probably dozens of tons of rock. So, shoot, probably like well over 100,000 pounds of rock. And had to do all that by hand in order to get down to the bone layer. Certain sites, you know, maybe you find something at the bottom of a cliff and you have to knock down a huge portion of that cliff bit by bit with hand tools, or if you're lucky, with jackhammers, in order to be able to get to the bone layer and dig up the dinosaur that's in there. There's a famous Tyrannosaurus specimen at Museum of the Rockies nicknamed B-Rex. And with that, there was like 50 feet of sheer cliff that they had to knock down, probably 10 or 20 feet inwards too. So an incredible amount of manual labor, but it was worth it for a number of different reasons. That was the first ever female dinosaur, in the sense that we could actually tell, we think, that she was a lady. Medullary bone tissue inside shows that she was about to lay eggs, which means, female. First time I've ever actually been able to sex a dinosaur like that, a non-avian dinosaur at least. Exciting stuff. And it took a tremendous amount of work to get to that point, but man, was it worth it. Is she the only one? We found more with medullary bone. There's still some paleontologists who are doubtful of that being medullary bone, but we're seeing it reported in more and more specimens. So we've got it in Tyrannosaurus, we've got it in Tenontosaurus, you know, Deinonychus food from the Cloverleaf Formation. We've got it in, shoot, I think we've got it in some other dinosaurs too. I want to say we have it from a Hadrosaur somewhere in Montana, but I'm not totally certain about that. But yeah, just search medullary bone dinosaur, and you'll find some information on that. And could male dinosaurs lay eggs too, like seahorses? We've got no evidence that that's the case, Little Carrot. I suppose it's not... Well, I was going to say, I suppose it's not impossible, but it's pretty darn improbable. Not very likely at all. We don't see that in dinosaurs' modern living relatives, like crocodilians or birds, and so it's very unlikely that we would have that in non-avian dinosaurs. But I suppose stranger discoveries have been made. But, I don't know, I would not expect that to ever become a thing. And Merv, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. It's good to have you here. But yeah. And you're right, Claire Burt. Yeah, male seahorses don't lay the eggs. They just carry the eggs to term, and then the young are birthed after they hatch from the eggs in the male's abdomen. And wasn't an ornithologist that caught the medullary bone? Carnotaurus? No, that was Mary Schweitzer. who's a molecular paleontologist. At least that's the story I've always heard. I've heard Mary tell that story. And Jandra says frogs can spontaneously change gender. Yeah, a lot of animals can. That's not super rare. There's a ton of different ray-finned fishes that do that. There's a few other kinds of vertebrate animal too that I'm slipping my mind right now, but that's not uncommon in nature. It's probably super common among invertebrates, I presume. Yeah. And whooping or despair, that's probably a celebratory whoop, I imagine. Yeah. I don't want to miss the flipping. Yeah, they're not getting ready to flip yet. They've got to undercut some of this stuff first. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, take it back. We did have a flip. Nice.
Just had a flip.
Yeah, excellent.
Success.
There we go, beautiful. Yeah, nice.
I'm gonna go ahead and monitor for the second one and let you know.
Thank
before
you.
it happens.
I appreciate that, Josh, yeah.
I was looking away, but otherwise.
No, good stuff. I was looking away too.
Doug, you want to look through there? So you find any bits of
Yeah. So again, this is an active site. We're not catering to the whims of Chad, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. This, doing some serious work here, and right now they're picking through that pedestal there. Make sure there's no chunks of bone or anything in it. They probably flipped a little bit closer to the plaster skirt than they were intended. But so far, so good, looks like.
That second one.
Yeah, nice.
Not quite yet.
Yeah, that was more time.
Excellent. Good stuff. Dinodex says, you are catering to my whims of wanting to learn. Well, good. I'm glad. Welcome. And Lottie Finchy says, are fish as old as dinosaurs? So not only are fish much older than dinosaurs, but dinosaurs evolved from fish, like all tetrapods did. Strictly speaking, if we're actually talking about evolutionary relationships of different animals, dinosaurs are a kind of fish. A kind of lobe-finned fish, a kind of Sarcopterygian in particular. So dinosaurs are, mammals are, like us. Birds are dinosaurs, so they are in turn Sarcopterygian fish, as well as reptiles and amphibians. Every animal that's got bones that lives on land, or in the water, basically any animal with bones is a fish. This is how it works. Fish were the first vertebrate animals to evolve, and so all the rest of the vertebrates evolved from them. So everything with bones is a fish, essentially. And we're fish confirmed Sunday, Monday. Basically, yeah. There's a lovely documentary about this that may have already popped up in chat called Your Inner Fish with Neil Shubin. Can't recommend it highly enough. It is brilliant. Check it out if you're curious. Open it up in a new tab or whatever and watch it after we're done here, because that is superb. It's so good, and you can find it on PBS. That might be a USA only thing, but you could probably find ways to watch it overseas too. Can't recommend it highly enough. 3-part series. Just watch the first episode, you'll get hooked. And that is not even supposed to be a fish pun. And would that mean that cetaceans are fish, but not fish? Blake the Snake? Bingo. Yeah. Whales. Whales aren't fish, but actually they are, because all mammals are fish. All tetrapods, all vertebrate animals are fish. Yeah. Yeah. Anywho. Yeah. And scrolling. I know there's a fish all along, says Dragon Soul Eater. I mean, I'm not joking here. Ask any evolutionary biologist, ask any mammologist, ornithologist, paleontologist, anybody who knows a thing or two about biology, they'll confirm. Just don't ask like a physicist or a chemist, because they often don't know these things. Sometimes they might, though. If they're if they're well read. And Rancid Kebabs is first time here, but happy to see this on Twitch. It's great to have you here, Rancid Kebab. And we're getting a raid, beautiful, from Che Ra. Che Ra, I hope you are doing really well. I hope you had a wonderful stream. Welcome to wild and windy western Wyoming. We're out here digging up dinosaurs in the Late Cretaceous Almond Formation. And we've got a duckbill dinosaur that is being excavated right now as we speak. We've got a bunch of people on site today, so I don't necessarily have to be helping hands-on at the moment, but I might have to help in there if they need an extra set of hands here. So, yeah, be aware. Or I don't know. Stand by if I have to jump in there. But yeah. If you're here for the very first time, let me introduce myself. My name is Danny Anduza, and I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I'm here on Twitch doing some good old-fashioned science outreach in the best way that I know how, live streaming a dinosaur dig. For the past 13 summers, well, except for 2020, 14 summers except for 2020, I've been out in the field digging up fossils. And now, due to the magic of satellite internet and solar power, I can broadcast to you live from the field, from the middle of nowhere. It's such a privilege to be able to do this, and I'm glad you're here. Let me know if you've got any questions. And strange question what was that? Are all of you paid? Is this your job, or can this be done as a hobby? So we're pretty much all volunteers here. I'm getting paid through Twitch, I guess. That's why I can afford to be here. Because Twitch streaming is my 9-to-5 job, which is pretty convenient. Really lucky. Thank you to this community for making that possible. But we've got students here. We've got various professionals and other careers. Everyone here is working unpaid. I'll put it that way. Because this is what we're passionate about. You know, this is really cool to be able to contribute to scientific discovery. And it's just a really neat experience to have. So, yeah, that's why we're here. And let's see. Little Carrot says, which way is camp? I'm sorry, I can't tell you. I don't want to, we got to be a little bit cagey about where we are because we don't want poachers and people like that. Sorry. Yeah. So, camp is over there. No docks. There you go, Che-Ra. How was your stream, by the way? I hope it was really good. Excellent. And do it faster with power tools, and I bet you could get a sponsorship from Red Bull. Yeah, and we destroy all the fossils. I appreciate you thinking outside the box, but sometimes you need the box in order to protect the fossils. And Risu Dega says there's a Holiday Inn just off camera. Yeah, definitely. And we've been sleeping in tents for the past, 11 nights? 10 or 11 nights? And I'll be doing the same thing, every night until the end of the month. I've not had a shower in well over a week, and probably won't until, maybe July 1st. Well, let's hope June 29th. But we'll see. It depends on how things go here and how much work still needs to be done. And One Fun Panda says, did that area used to be a swamp 90 million years ago? Maybe not 90. It was probably underwater 90 million years ago. But 73 million years ago, in these rocks that we're digging in right now, this was kind of a swampy, floodplain, low-lying, wet environment. Let me show you. Great question, by the way, One Fun Panda. I appreciate it. So we're digging in the Late Cretaceous Almond Formation here in western Wyoming. And let's see which one of these is the right one. I've got some visual aids that I've printed out. There we go. Yeah. So this is a map of North America as it would have looked, more or less, about 70 million years ago. This is the closest I could find to these particular age rocks. Ours are a little bit older, 73 million years old. But you'll see some features that you don't really see in North America nowadays. Like, for instance, this, the Western Interior Seaway. So back at this time, sea levels were much, much higher because the Earth was warmer, there wasn't a lot of ice. A lot of that water is there in the oceans. There's other stuff going on too, but that's, short, simple answer. Here's the state of Wyoming. Conveniently, there are the outlines of the states here on Ron Blakey's map. Very helpful. We're about right there in western Wyoming. So 73 million years ago, the seaway had expanded. It was even wider than this, and it actually extended down through Texas. All this was underwater too, as far as I know. And so this was beachfront property. Imagine this being beachfront property. It's hard to picture, right? Because here in Wyoming nowadays, we're at about 7,000 feet elevation, like 2,200 meters or something like that. We're really high in the air. This was sea level 73 million years ago, right down by the coast, beachfront property. Picture like modern day Louisiana, the Mississippi Delta, that kind of terrain. Where you've got these vast floodplains with these big rivers coming down off of the nascent Rocky Mountains, and you're getting all this sediment deposited here. Would have been kind of swampy, almost like a bayou, floodplain, bog, beach kind of an area. And the fossils reflect that. The fossil plants that we found over at our other site show that it would have been a pretty warm climate here, much different than today. You would have had redwood trees, things kind of similar to sycamores, I think, laurels and magnolia trees, probably even some palms and stuff, although I don't think we found those yet. And then down in the water, because there was water all over the place here, kind of a swampy environment, very wet. We had turtles, crocodilians, various species of toothy fish, rayfin fish, things like gar and bowfin. And then on land, of course, you've got dinosaurs walking around. Duckbill dinosaurs, horned dinosaurs, meat-eating tyrannosaurs, armored ankylosaurs, and some other dinosaurs too. And we're hoping to find more of these different kinds if we can find some time for prospecting this month. But first, we've got to take care of a priority and get these sites excavated. Lil Fresca says, get me a T-Rex skull. You're not going to find that here. This is about 5 million years before the evolution of T-Rex, before T-Rex evolved. So these rocks are too old for T-Rex, but we might have earlier tyrannosaurs here. We'd love to be able to find some, but our priority right now is digging up this duckbill that we've already got. Exciting. And Fitz-Ari says, does this channel ever deal with science deniers? I hope not. Oh yeah, kind of a lot. You get people who trickle in. Mostly they're just trolls. But sometimes you have earnest people who have just been very misled. And that's, it's a big part of what I'm trying to do here on Twitch. This is science communication. This is trying to reach out to people and show them that, A, science is really cool. And they shouldn't be mystified by it. They shouldn't be scared by it. I'm trying to show you how science actually works. It's much harder to say that all science is fake if you actually see it taking place in front of your eyes, That's what I'm trying to do here, is to walk you through it, to show you firsthand how fossil science works. So welcome to Paleontologizing. That's the point of the name of the channel, Paleontologizing. It's kind of take paleontology and turn it into a verb, show you how it's done, You're seeing it happen right before you. It's a verb. Paleontologizing. And what's the biggest crew you've gotten to work with? How many people? Actually, this crew, we had like 24 people this morning, I think. Before 5 of them have left as of right now. Then we're going to see some more people go in the next few days. Our crew will fluctuate in size throughout the month of June before we're done. But I think we've already reached our peak at about 24 people. Actually, no, the other night we had 27, I think, which is a lot. The biggest crew I've ever had before that, I think, was like 19. So it's been a big crew. A lot of volunteers, a lot of students, a lot of people who are just getting into paleontology, like trying to pursue it as a career. And then we've got some professionals and some museum people. And yeah, it's a good group. All male so far, which, you know, I don't know. It's nice to hang out with the guys, but it's nice to have, you know, some ladies around too, just to balance things out. And yeah, we don't have that yet. And Atno says, I'm sure T-Rex is the most popular dinosaur, but what do you think is the coolest dinosaur and why? Oh, good question. Coolest dinosaur is really, that's a tough question, but I like to say there's a dinosaur I think is severely underrated, not nearly popular enough, not enough people know about it, but it's going to be really important, and I love talking about it. There's a dinosaur called Falcarius from Utah, Falcarius utahensis. Its name means scythe, I think, in reference to its big claws, but it's an early therizinosaur dinosaur. It's in the process of evolving from a meat-eating dinosaur into a plant-eating dinosaur. It's kind of a transitional form. It's a dinosaur in transition. Later therizinosaurs seem to be fully herbivorous. They're plant eaters, but they evolved from meat-eating ancestors. Falcarius is kind of that transition in between, and it's really, really cool. So that's one of the reasons why it's so interesting, but another reason is we've got so many specimens of it. And so with as many fossils as exist of Falcarius, you could potentially do some really, really cool science on them. You know, you've got like a more or less representative sample of the population of this critter, and that's really, really important. Most dinosaurs that have been named, we only have one individual of, like one specimen, and it's usually just a handful of bones. For Falcarius, not only do we have pretty much the whole skeleton preserved from a bunch of different individuals, but you've got so many individuals there. So I think that's a dinosaur I wish more people knew about. I wish Falcarius got more attention, because it's a cool critter. And it probably was omnivorous, Fedorosaur, yeah. Therizinosaurs are rad, Death of Barney, yeah, and Falcarius helps illustrate that. Yeah. And let's see here. Scrolling. Lordy, are you here? Welcome, Lordy. It's good to see you. What's my favorite obscure extant animal, says Ms. Blue Skies. Oh boy, favorite extant obscure animal. The one that's leaping to mind right now is the strap-toothed whale. It's my favorite hoofed mammal. Because whales are a kind of hoofed mammal. They're a kind of artiodactyl. They're related to hippos and pigs and deer and stuff like that. Strap-toothed whales are really neat because they've not been observed very much in the wild. They live way out at sea down in the Southern Ocean near Antarctica. They get big for beaked whales, and the males have these tusks that grow out of the lower jaw, and then they curve up and over the upper jaw, and they cross. So basically, they've got their snout like that, and their tusks are crossed over the top of the snout, so they can only open their mouths a little bit. They're so weird and cool. I love strap-toothed whales. They're pretty neat. And have expected to say Tenrex or Kakapo. Tenrex are, I guess, not a lot of people know about them in the general public, but Kakapo, I think, are pretty well known. Yeah. They get a lot of Instagram time, don't they? Yeah. And One Fun Panda says, whales used to walk on land? You betcha, yeah. We've actually got an excellent fossil record for whales, the transition from land into the water. So the earliest whales that we have had 4 legs. They looked kind of like if you crossed a wolf with a dachshund. Yeah, but they were artiodactyls, so they're a kind of hoofed mammal. And then, like, we found all these specimens of them. I say we, I mean people like Philip Gingrich and other, like, fossil whale experts. have been digging in places like India and Pakistan. That seems to be where this transition takes place, where whales first evolved. And yeah, you just got this lovely kind of step-by-step transition from whales on land to whales in the ocean, going from looking like a wolf kind of a thing to looking like a modern whale. It's really, really neat. It's one of the best documented, like, major evolutionary transitions across environment for any tetrapod group. The evolution of whales is super fascinating. Anywho, we're going far afield from here. Let's go back to our dig site and take a look at this this dinosaur we're digging up. And Miss Yvette says, what is their info about that? I mean, just for starters, shoot, I don't know. YouTube, just search like evolution of whales, and you'll see a quick little animation that hopefully will be the first thing that pops up. But there's been books and books and books written on this kind of thing. There are so many different transitional whale fossils that have been found and described, and all kinds of cool stuff. There's a lovely documentary about this that just came out this year too, about oh shoot, what was it called? Something Anubis, which is it's a whale with legs from Egypt. Shoot, I forget what it's called. But if you just search YouTube for like Anubis fossil whale Egypt, you'll find it. There was a neat, I think PBS documentary that just came out about it. If you're looking to watch something after this stream is done, it's good stuff. And nothing more variants. Recent attempts to see. I'm not even. What do you mean nothing more? I'm not sure I know what you're talking about there. Modern synthesis is pretty well established. That's, you know, it's about as concrete as science gets. Pheomycetus Anubis, thank you. Pheomycetus Anubis, thank you, Diagonal. Appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. And are there similar transitions for marine reptiles? Asks May. It's trickier with marine reptiles. You know, we should ask Takuya about that, maybe, if we do an interview with him at some point. But a lot of them, their fossil record is not quite as good. They're from much further back in time. So most of the marine reptiles, they kind of get their start in like the early Triassic. And it seems to have been pretty rapid. The thing is, when you've got a major extinction event, sometimes you have really rapid evolution after that, as creatures kind of scramble to occupy niches that have suddenly opened up. And so, for things like the origin of, say, ichthyosaurs or plesiosaurs, it's, I don't know. I recall it's a bit trickier. We don't have as many fossils. But I might be dealing with outdated information here, too. We might actually have a much better idea of what the earliest plesiosaurs and ichthyosaurs looked like, because they also evolved from land-living ancestors, kind of almost lizardy creatures. And then they became very well adapted to life in the oceans, fully aquatic in both their morphology and their habits. Yeah. And let's see here. Anywho. And Hoth SV says, I'm so glad you were here. It's so interesting, the knowledge you have. Do you have a Cash App for donations? I've got a Ko-Fi and I think a PayPal too. Both of them should be Paleontologizing, if you'd like to contribute. If you'd like to buy some drinks for the crew, you know, they'd really appreciate that. But yeah, thank you. And how late into the evening do you folks generally work? We try and be back at the vehicles around 6, but this could be a later night tonight because we've got a bunch of crew members here, and this is a high priority. We've really got to get this thing out of the ground if we can. ASAP. So we are working on that. So over here we've got Ethan trimming away the underside of this jacket. So that was right here. He flipped it so that we can jacket the underside. But right now, he's clearing away some of this rock here just to make it nice and light. And is that bone right there?
All this is bone.
Nice. All right. Beautiful. That's going to be heavy, but it's nice that we've got so much in there.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that's cool.
Sweet little surprise.
Yeah. Think those are verts?
I have no idea. I know we know that there are vertebrae in here, but
Uh-huh.
it's hard to say what these in particular are.
Yeah,
Probably verts, but I'm not sure. Oh, there's another new bone right there, poking out.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Look at that.
Thanks for showing us. This
This is just a delight.
it really is. Like, you know, doing flips and jacketing that's one of my favorite parts of fieldwork.
Somersaults,
Yeah.
all kinds of flips.
Oh yeah. Back flips, front flips, kick flips,
Ollies.
side flips. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Anyway. Yeah. Thanks, Ethan.
Real life dead dinosaur.
Yeah. Real life dead dinosaur. Yeah. Anyway, cool stuff. It's gonna feel really good to get some of these jackets back to the truck. But it's gonna be a long walk. Oh man. Yeah. And J Juice says, is that an egg? No. So these are field jackets. So it's a kind of a plaster and burlap protective cocoon that we put around the bones to get it back to the laboratory. This is standard procedure. Paleontologists have been doing this since the 1870s. Because it's the best way to get these fossils back to the laboratory without crumbling them, without destroying them. Oh, yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know? And, yeah, Edmontosaurus and a few other dinosaurs were bigger than T-Rex in the Late Cretaceous. One fun panda, yeah. Yeah. Just talking about that with Jim on the phone. And, oh, too much dust on here. Let me clear that off. Wow. Yeah. And Nothing More Variant says, what did paleontologists do before the modern jacketing procedure? They broke a lot of bones. It was much more difficult to collect things before this method was devised. They'd often just try and like paint the surface with shellac and stuff like that, if they had access to that. Or they'd just try and carry the bone back in chunks. Yeah, that method, as simple as it seems, it really had a big impact on being able to get fossils safely back to the laboratory. There are stories of you know, scientists working on stuff like this in the past, and then just, you know, you had a lot of bones that were lost back then. They would just crumble. So field jacketing was a major innovation. It helped a lot. It really, really did. But it's funny you ask, what did paleontologists do before this? That method was first devised around the same time that the word paleontologist really kind of came into common usage. That was kind of the dawn of paleontology here in the United States, at least, around the same time that those methods were devised, back in the 1870s. Before that, scientists who studied fossils, you know, usually a scientist who studied fossils didn't exclusively focus on fossils. They might be called a geologist, or go back earlier in time, you might even call them like a natural philosopher, or something like that, or just a naturalist. The word paleontologist wasn't really in common usage until maybe like the 1890s. The word paleontology itself was coined in, I think, 1832. So it's not a very old word, which might seem ironic. But our field is a fairly new one. Paleontology is a fairly new science in the grand scheme of things. We've only really had an understanding of the history of life on Earth, of the fossil record, for the past 200 years or so. Yeah, less than that, really. It's funny to think about. And the term ecology would have been coined in the same era. I want to say the term ecology is even newer than that. That might date back to like the 1950s or something. I don't know. I'd be surprised if it went back that far, like the 1890s. I bet you it's newer than that, even, the word ecology. And Miss Pineapple says, did you ever find something that wasn't discovered yet? Oh yeah, a bunch of times. In 2012, I found a ceratopsian dinosaur that's almost certainly a new species. Hopefully that'll be published sometime soon. I got to contact my co-author about that soon. And then in 2015, We found bits of a dinosaur that no one had ever described before. That was published in 2020. Triarchunkus prairiensis. And then the past 2 years I've been working here in Wyoming and down in Utah, and pretty much all the dinosaurs we're digging up in both places are new. We've got every reason to suspect that this is a new species of duckbill dinosaur that we're digging up right now. We won't really know until we get it back to the laboratory and get it cleaned and studied. But based on how old these rocks are that we're digging in, this should very much be a new critter. Time will tell, study will tell, really. But yeah, it's exciting stuff. We're breaking new ground in science. This is the frontier of human knowledge out here, the bleeding edge. And it's exciting to be able to share that with you live. Yeah, all right, got another flip going? So, here's one of those protective plaster jackets right there. Thank you, Josh.
I got you.
Yeah. And so, within that, this jacket that we built here out of burlap and plaster of Paris, within that, we have got some dinosaur bones. In order to be able to jacket the underside, we've got to flip this thing over to make a, fully enclosed fossil jacket, a field jacket, we call it. So Ethan's got a mallet and a chisel there, and he's going to start undercutting this so that we can get the thing flipped. Nice. We've got some hammers we can use too if you run out of chisels. Use as a wedge.
You got several chisels?
Yeah. Nice.
There's another one?
Two's fine.
By the way, pretty sure these chisels are ones that were provided
They sure were.
by members of chat. Yeah, from the wish list.
Yeah.
Your donations at work here,
Shout
chat.
out. Chat.
Stay.
Making dreams come true. One white blob at a time.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
We just fucking.
Let's flip it toward me.
Force.
though.
Use our own.
So now it's
our own
loose on the
manpower.
side.
Nice.
Yeah. It's starting to move. Looks like it's lifting pretty well.
Okay. Let's get some padding right here, like some burlap.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Doug.
Nice job.
There. Do that too if we need it.
So we want it to be in midair as short a time as possible, right? So we want it to just flip and just go over. We don't want any time for stuff underneath to fall out. So
Which side is it going for?
we're going that way.
This way.
Okay. Anyone interested in participating in this?
I would like
Okay, let's
to.
go.
I just wasn't sure.
No,
if
you're good.
you-
Let's get some hands ready. Okay. 1, 2, 3, up.
Nice.
Nice job.
Very nice. All right.
Nice job, guys.
Success.
Success.
Good work, fellas.
Woo!
Very nice. Yeah. So now that that's flipped, now that it's upside down, Ethan's going to be carving away at that with some hand tools to clear some of that rock. And once he starts to see bone there, then he stops, and we'll jacket the jacket.
Sweet.
Very nice.
Success.
Good work, guys.
Very good.
What do you think, Edie? Yeah? Aww.
Why are you flipping these rocks?
The word ecology was coined by Haeckel in 1866. That's way earlier than I would have expected. That's awesome. thank you, Diagonal, for looking that up. Beautiful. And Shauno says, no way, I can finally live my Jurassic Park dreams vicariously through a stream. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Yeah, I'm glad we can do that for you. Glad we can make that possible. I'm streaming to you live from the Badlands of western Wyoming, where we're digging up some dinosaurs here. And this is the real deal, you know? Not like in Jurassic Park, where you've got this beautiful, flawless Deinonychus skeleton, all laid out, articulated, covered by only a little bit of sand, you know, but brushing away with soft brushes like kids at a playground. No, this is the real deal. It's much more technical work, it's much more difficult. It's not quite as photogenic, but I'm here streaming it to you anyway, to show you how this works. So welcome to Paleontologizing. And thank you for those gift subs there. Moonrise Rabbit, thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you kindly for the support. And how does Edie spell her name, Golganek? I'm not sure. I'm glad you got to see her today, because she's taking off tomorrow. I think it's E-D-I-E, short for Edith. I think she's named after Edith from All in the Family, I want to say. Yeah, maybe we can ask Doug. Yeah. And reality is a great thing. I agree, Trek Nerd. I'm a fan of it. Gotta say. And One Fun Panda says, are chickens related to T-Rex? All birds are, yeah. All birds are related to theropod dinosaurs, the two-legged, meat-eating, often feathered dinosaurs. In fact, they are a kind of theropod dinosaur. So chickens, not just chickens, but all birds. Hummingbirds and penguins, ostriches and pigeons, you know, parakeets and albatross, they're all part of the theropod dinosaur group. They're all theropod dinosaurs. In the same way that T-Rex is a theropod dinosaur. Maybe I'll show you in a minute. Yeah. And Moonrise Rabbit says, I have 4 dinosaurs in my living room. Nice, Moonrise Rabbit. We've got 1 dinosaur right here in our quarry. Yeah. Nice. Very nice. Here, let me grab that visual aid and we'll talk about what dinosaurs are and what they aren't and why birds are dinosaurs. Yeah. And that's funny, Enlightened Tide. I like that. Okay. Here we are. So, what is a dinosaur and what isn't? There's a lovely diagram from, I think this is from 252mya.com. So, the way that we classify living things in science is based on what they're actually related to. You know, it's not based on vibes, it's not based on what we think about them or anything like that, what they look like. What we're actually trying to figure out is what living things are actually related to one another based on, like, what they share a common ancestor with. So when we say that, like, dogs are related to foxes, we're not just saying they look similar. That's not why they're related. They're related because they actually evolved from the same ancestor, if you go back not too far. Canids and vulpids are, they're very, very closely related because they shared a common ancestor, like, I don't know how long ago, maybe 30 million years ago, something like that. That's how we classify living things, is if they share a common ancestor recently, then they're closely related. So dinosaurs begin right here. So in order to be a dinosaur, you have to have evolved from the first dinosaur ancestor. So all dinosaurs, you can trace back to that common ancestor, including birds. Birds evolved from two-legged, meat-eating dinosaurs. There's a feathered velociraptor right there. There's T-Rex. These are theropod dinosaurs. So theropods, including birds, evolved from that earliest dinosaur ancestor. So birds are dinosaurs. Does that make sense? Pterosaurs, aka pterodactyls, people in the general public often call them that. Pterosaurs are not dinosaurs, but they're very closely related. They're both ornithodyrene reptiles, so they share a common ancestor here. So closely related, but pterosaurs are not dinosaurs. Mammals, like us, are way over here. And so you gotta go way back to the origin of amniota before you get to where mammals and dinosaurs had a common ancestor. So they're not very closely related. Does that make sense? Yeah. And crocodiles, over here, they are kind of close to dinosaurs. They're still part of Archosauria, right here, this clade, but they're not as closely related to dinosaurs as, say, pterosaurs. Especially not birds. Birds are dinosaurs. Does that make sense? Yeah. But yeah. Good stuff. And Beeful says humans are so behind in understanding the basic of universe. All of this is just Ilutian. This makes no sense. I think you're right about the last sentence there. Is that a self-appraisal? Welcome to Paleontologizing. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist broadcasting to you live via satellite from wild and windy western Wyoming. We're digging up some dinosaurs here. The whole point is to be able to walk you through the scientific process and show you how this sort of thing actually works. So I'm glad you're here. Please let me know if you've got any questions, because, well, it's the whole point of doing these broadcasts, is to be able to kind of walk you through, show you how science works firsthand, so you won't be scared of it, so that you won't be suspicious of it, you know? Yeah, it's the whole purpose is to show you how this stuff works. So I hope you feel comfortable asking any questions that you've got, and I'm glad you're here. Yeah, and King Kong FK says that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. You bet. Appreciate your questions and your kind words. Yeah. And John Bearded Man says, if you guys want real, true go-to answer in Genesis, you will get real truth. Oh boy. If you want a hearty laugh, maybe go to that website. I don't know. That's the difference between science and between, I'm going to say, nonsense. We as scientists, our starting point is the evidence, you know? We're out here digging up these fossils and trying to figure out what's actually true, you know? Following the evidence where it leads. Yeah, the whole Answers in Genesis thing, their whole thing is they start with the conclusion and then they try and bend the facts to fit it. So they start with a particular narrow interpretation of certain books of the Bible, and they ignore other stuff in the Bible. They're not good theologians. Ask any, like, proper theologian and they'll tell you, like, their interpretations of the Bible are way off. Completely wrong. Interpreting everything literally when it is very clearly not supposed to be interpreted in a literal sense. The Bible was not written in English. You know, day does not mean day in that sense. Don't get me started. Anyway. Some of us on this crew were raised in that kind of environment, you know? Raised to be suspicious of science. Raised to, you know, to start with the conclusion and then maybe you try and, like, find facts and, you know, bend them to fit that. But that's not how science works. Anybody who's a good scientist follows the evidence where it leads. That's exactly what we're trying to do here. And that's the whole ethos that I'm trying to, you know, promote on this channel. So, glad you're here, and let me know if you've got any questions. Yeah. Let's see. Scrolling. And Dillbot says, do we know why dinosaurs evolved into mostly avian birds instead of land animals? Well, no, dinosaurs were mostly non-flying land animals. It's just that there's a big bottleneck. The only dinosaurs that survived when that asteroid hit 66 million years ago, that whole ecological devastation that was triggered by that, the only dinosaurs that survived were a handful of birds. Everybody else died. So it's not like all dinosaurs evolved into birds. No, there was only one species of dinosaur that eventually gave rise to all birds. And even at the KPG boundary, when that asteroid hit, the majority of bird species that existed at the time also went extinct. It's something like 90% of bird diversity wiped out. 90% of bird species went extinct during that extinction event when the asteroid hit. There was only a few species that survived, but they've managed to diversify into the over 9,000 species of birds that we have today. Which, I don't know, I think that's pretty darn cool. And let's see. Scrolling. Yeah. Have you heard of Dinosaur George? Says Glove. Dinosaur George Olszewski? Yeah, of course. Yeah. And let's see. One Fun Panda says, so a duckbill dinosaur could outrun a T-Rex? Well, it depends what we're talking about here. What kind of duckbill dinosaur, at what growth stage, and what growth stage of T-Rex, too. Tyrannosaurus, when it was young, we know from finding young Tyrannosaurus fossils, they had very different proportions from the adults. They're much less stocky, much more leggy, you know? They had long, graceful legs. They would have been really fast runners. Maybe the fastest animal in their environment. But if we're talking about, say, an adult Tyrannosaurus and an adult Edmontosaurus, I don't know who could outrun the other. They might be pretty close to the same speed. I'm not sure. But young T-Rex would have been fast. We've got every indication that these were speedy running animals. And have I seen birds today, Miss Yvette? I've seen multiple birds today, yeah. And heard even more of them. Meadowlarks and rock wrens, turkey vultures and ravens. Yeah. And Anthornithians, RIP. There you go, Ken. Yeah. We miss you already, Ken. I'm looking forward to you being out here next weekend. Yeah. And let's see here. And Floppy Biscuit says, I also wonder if it didn't hit then, what would they have evolved into? That's a great question. That's been pondered before by dinosaur paleontologists. Gregory S. Paul has got a neat illustration in one of his books, speculative of like, if the asteroid hadn't hit, what would, these late Cretaceous dinosaurs have evolved into? And so he's got this beautiful sketch of North American grasslands, and you had these weird wacky ceratopsians with these crazy horns and frills, unlike any that we've found in the past, because it would have kept evolving this weird stuff. Same with these big lambeosaurs with these speculative frills and crests, and then there's tyrannosaurs chasing them. They don't have any arms anymore, just little nubs where the arms used to be, because they do seem to be kind of evolving in that direction. Their arms seem to get smaller and smaller through the generations, throughout geological time. So it would make sense that if that asteroid hadn't hit when it did, if they'd been allowed to continue to evolve, the descendants of T-Rex probably would have lost their arms altogether. That's the idea, at least. And it's fun to think about. And Atnos says, if dinosaurs didn't go extinct, would there still be people? No. No way. No. That's the thing, is that mammals, we're mammals. We belong to the mammalian clade. And mammals and dinosaurs evolved at roughly the same kind of time, back in the Triassic period. So mammals and dinosaurs pretty much always existed together. But the thing is, during the age of dinosaurs were able to evolve into wildly different shapes and sizes. Some of them grew to be the biggest animals to ever walk the earth. We're talking like 130 feet long, like 70 tons, gargantuan. Animals as big as like 12 elephants. But there were no elephants back then. During the Mesozoic era, during the time of the dinosaurs, the very biggest mammals you got, the most tremendously gargantuan of the mammals, were like maybe the size of a small dog, or maybe like the size of a large badger, or like a very large loaf of bread. Most mammals were very, very small indeed. Some of them are like practically insect-sized. You look at critters like Hadrocodium, and it's smaller than a paperclip. For whatever reason, mammals stayed really small throughout the Mesozoic, and dinosaurs got really large. It seems like dinosaurs kind of kept mammals down, suppressed, kept them so that they had to be small, living in burrows, mostly coming out at night, that kind of thing. There's some exceptions to that where some of them may have, walked around during the day and stuff like that, but for the most part, that's the general story. Mammals were small, nocturnal, lived underground, kind of in the shadow of the dinosaurs for well over 150 million years. And it was that asteroid that struck that changed things. Afterwards, the dinosaurs are gone, except for a handful of birds, and suddenly mammals can get big, and they did. It took this freak accident, this giant space rock, in order to change things. And so if that hadn't happened, we wouldn't be here today. Mammals would still probably be little squeaky, sniveling things, scurrying around in the underbrush. Maybe some of them would get to be the size of like a dog, but most of them were tiny little mouse-sized critters, up until the present. But yeah. And let's see. Crimson Carnotaurus says, back then we were hors d'oeuvres and kids' meals for dinosaurs. I mean, you're not wrong. And badgers. We don't need those thinking badgers. There you go, Geek Store. Yeah. It'd be cool to see a badger out here. We've probably got them in this environment. But maybe one of the reasons why so many mammals today burrow, especially small mammals, that's probably a holdover from the age of the dinosaurs, when that's what they needed to do to survive. There's so many different mammal species today that dig burrows. Does anybody in chat know the largest mammal that digs burrows? I'll be impressed if you know this. It's a pretty big mammal indeed. Yeah. And Libercon says, big/small rocks are always falling into the earth. Yep, it happens. Shooting stars, we've seen a lot of them out here. And what is it like working with museums, says the latest Kate? It's great. Yeah, that's how you, I don't know. That's how I work. That's why I'm doing field work out here, collecting fossils for the museum in Cincinnati. The Cincinnati folks from the museum just left this morning, but they were a pleasure to deal with, and wish they could have stayed longer. It's, I don't know, I'm very much a museum person, so I'm all about museums, absolutely. Most of us in paleontology are. And so, let's see. Largest burrowing mammal. Somebody said giant ground sloth, and that's a good answer. That would be a correct answer. That's the largest burrowing mammal that we have in the fossil record. I think is Megatherium, giant ground sloth from South America. But the largest extant burrowing mammal is the polar bear. They will dig burrows in the snow, and they will dig burrows in the earth as well, if they get the chance to. So they are the largest burrowing mammal that is alive today. Pretty cool. There we go. Let me go check on the router, because I think that fell over there, and I don't want to reduce our signal here. And Dreaded Pirate Robert says Cincinnati Museum is really nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to going there sometime soon, I hope. Hopefully in the next year, to see some of these fossils after they get transported back there, and as they're being cleaned in the lab. And I was talking with Glenn Storrs about this morning as he was leaving. He's like, come out to Cincinnati, see the museum, do some live streams. So I'd like to do that at some point. We'll have to see when that's possible. Alright, yep, the router did get knocked over. Let me fix that. Oh, and let me not walk in front of the satellite dish. We'll trip up the signal. Sorry. That data's got to go all the way to space and back. So I don't want to interfere with that too much. There we go. That's better. Let's see here. I've been in Cincy for 14 years. You know, I keep hearing better and better things about Cincinnati. I've never been, but I really want to visit. You've got some awesome fossils just there in the Cincinnati area, too, to be found. Lots of Ordovician stuff, I think, from long before the dinosaurs. It's supposed to be a really wonderful area for fossil hunting. So maybe I'll get to do that at some point. But I definitely want to go to the museum. Anywho, yeah. Let's go take a look. Oh, and we're going to be doing some more jacketing over here. See, Ethan and Luke are already preparing some more plaster. So we're gonna go bother them. And yeah. Sorry. Come over here and make things PG rated. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
But yeah,
We were
nice.
talking global politics, global policy.
Nice. Yeah.
And politics, but mostly religion, but a lot of
Yeah.
politics. Other impolite things. Now it's dino time!
Yeah.
This is a whole layer right here.
Oh,
that feels so good.
Yep.
Yeah, mixing it up. Let's hear that squelching.
Hold on, get it a little closer. 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 Yeah. Well, just to hear it, I mean.
Yeah.
This is the thickness you want, where you got a bit of water,
Yeah.
a bit of plaster.
We'll get those lumps out.
Put it together, what do you get? Dinosaur Kingdom.
It's like my mama made.
This reminds me of my mummy's cooking.
Yeah, from the old country.
The slop. Oats.
All that gruel she'd make
Yeah.
with the
Please, sir, can I have some more?
Elmer's glue. Yeah.
But unlike Elmer's glue, where it's satisfying to take off your fingers,
Yeah, this is
torture.
clings to all your hairs and everything, and
Yeah.
yeah. Oh boy.
It is covered in plaster at the moment.
As you can see,
Yeah.
I walk the walk.
Yep.
The plaster walk. Okay.
Get those lumps out.
Yeah, we're lump free. Let's go. Yeah, it's all benign.
All right.
Cool. Here's a whole layer.
Wow, that's nice.
Put that in there.
That's great.
That's just gonna cover the whole thing all at once. That's brilliant.
Everything all at once. Oh yeah.
Uh-oh. Loop-de-Dude says gloves are for wimps. Don't say that around Dawn to Blue.
Oh no. I'm gonna tell Dawn.
Later in the summer, you'll hear Dawn's treatise on why you should always use dish gloves when
Yes.
mixing plaster. We don't really do that here. That's not how I was taught either.
Because we are tough cookies. No, it's because we forget to get nice
Yeah.
things for ourselves sometimes.
I don't like them.
I can't set them.
Yeah.
My hands, I have small hands, so like no gloves fit me. Like no men's gloves fit me, I feel like.
I gotta wear the women's gloves.
Or just like extra small man gloves, which sucks because like I don't want to.
Children.
I know. It's like I don't want to shop in the kids' glove section. All right. What's got it?
Yeah, lay that right down.
Yeah, buddy. All right.
There you go. There you go. We're doing that.
Beautiful. Lovely shroud
Now
there.
calm down. Don't act like that never happened to you. We're all hitting the floor. Luke, I don't know what you're doing over there.
I think it's a little too big, honestly.
Okay.
But that's okay. We got it.
Let's get it. Hold on. Before you do that,
Yep,
let's
yep,
get it
yep.
tucked.
Yep.
Yeah, before we get them boulders going.
Might be able to fold over here.
Yeah, you could do that.
Love a good fold, but don't set that yet because we still got giant pockets.
I know. Just there's a exposed area there.
Yeah, but that's all right.
All right.
For now.
Having a fold there is good too because it reinforces the edge that'll be resting on the ground.
There we go. I just love being outside. See, they got giant air pockets everywhere.
Yeah.
Yay.
Nice.
It's all good.
Yeah, so unlike in, say, a croissant or something like that, you don't want air pockets.
Or butter.
Yeah, or butter, true. Also, don't want to bake this at 350 degrees for
Yeah,
for 25 minutes.
And you don't want to eat it if you're on a diet.
No.
I tried that. It was horrible.
Go right to your hips.
Yeah, I went right to my liver. Right to my whatever cleans your body from poisons.
air pocket right there.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the end of us.
That's a air pocket right there.
Yeah.
You can massage that out.
Yeah, it's because we set this side before we...
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. Everything is fine, except for...
Yeah, I'm seeing this area kind of go.
Yeah,
A little bit.
And look at this area too. It's because we set it over there before we got it tight.
Yeah, it's a tug
See?
of war.
Yeah, it's really bad. But guess what? We're good. We're good at this. We love life.
Yeah.
We love bones. We love plaster.
Murph wants to know, do we have a jacket count? Ooh.
It's probably in the dozens
Total?
so far.
Nice, yeah.
Hey, Mirth.
Yeah, good to have you here, Murph.
Good to
Welcome,
hear ya.
welcome.
Yeah, we we're gonna go probably do a tour at the where we're storing all the jackets at some point, and it's like we collected more fossils in the first week here than we did in the past 3 years.
That's awesome.
So we're doing really, really well.
Yeah. High yield summer.
Most def. We have some glass right here. Yeah, more strips. Wouldn't hurt to kind of just like ball one up in there, I guess.
Yeah.
Get his shoes behind you.
Right under Danny's foot.
Nice. Thanks for keeping a hold of those.
You bet. Wasn't doing it intentionally, but I'll take credit.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a lot of players there.
Yeah, so for anybody just joining us, this is not arts and crafts time. This is, we're making some fossil jackets here. Field jackets. It's like a protective cocoon we put around the fossil bones so we can transport them back to the laboratory safely.
It was never a problem.
You're
This
right.
is the way it's been done since,
At
what,
least-
1880s? Something like that?
Yeah.
Marsh's cruise?
I was talking to James about this on the way over.
Nice.
Barnum Brown claimed he invented it, but 75 people claimed to have invented it. So
Exactly, yeah.
everyone and their mother claimed.
I thought you invented it.
You know, I actually did. I just don't like bringing that up because I don't want to make people jealous. But,
Gotcha.
and also, I look very young given how long this has been around.
No, very
The
acceptable.
plaster does wonders for your skin. That's why I'm 200, but I look like I'm
By wonders, you mean
45.
it dries it out and
Yes, destroys it.
it rips out all the hairs.
Yeah. Let's get another little
By
bit.
wonders, you meant atrocities.
I meant disasters. Yes.
Got it. Cool.
Some good?
Yeah.
All right.
And what I love
All
about
right,
it
baby,
was like,
faster. Ooh, that's two.
I'll take that, yeah,
We
sorry.
got a double.
2 for 1.
Wow.
so it's like one of those.
Oh, this is a thick one.
Yeah.
Look where we need it. Nowhere, huh?
Yeah.
Straight up nowhere, dude.
We had a question about what happens to this after it gets back to the laboratory. Well, hopefully it doesn't sit in storage for too long.
Hopefully it goes straight to the recycling instead of the trash, because this could be used again in the future. I
You
think.
should always recycle.
Always recycle your dinos.
Anyway. It's okay. We get goofy out here. You know how it is.
Sorry, we're not human. We're no longer humans at this point. It's been a minute.
Kind of going feral out here, as one does.
Get cleaned up.
But yeah. So when you open this in the lab, you use a cast cutter, which is a saw with a blade that kind of goes like this. It doesn't spin, but it makes that noise, you know. And it's the same kind of thing that you'd use to get a cast cut off of a broken arm or a leg. And so you use that to just, basically they'll go along here, they'll just cut along that rim and take that off like a lid, and then they'll be able to start cleaning the fossil, removing the rock. What we call fossil preparation. That's what that's called.
Which is what Spencer does.
And Nicholas. And myself.
Yeah.
A lot of that going around.
Yeah. Jeez.
That time of the year.
So much dust in my eyes.
Prep month.
Dust on the lens. No, it's okay. It's not your fault.
Maybe we get you some goggles.
Yeah. I've got some. I could put them on.
Dogs.
Yeah, you've got some goop down here too. That if you want to use some of that.
No. Not on the new, what's
Burlap.
the word? Burlap. That's what we call it, huh?
Yeah.
Forget what we call that out here.
been a long day.
Yeah, it's been a long lifetime.
Not a lot of it. I would say
Oh, this is a great little jacket.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
good
looks
at
good.
it.
Looks good.
Luke is out.
Give you some smoothing down here.
Yo, for sure.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Anyway, that's that, chat.
That's good.
Yeah. Nice work, fellas.
Thanks for the help, chat.
Yeah. And what's your guess as to how much that sample weighs? This jacket here?
50 pounds? 60 pounds?
I'd say probably 60 or 70. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not
You
crazy.
flipped
heavy.
it though. You'd know better than I would.
It's a decent weight.
Yeah.
It's too much for one person to carry all the way to the truck, but
Yeah.
maybe alternating or putting it on a stretcher with a couple guys holding
Yeah.
it, it's not too bad.
Maybe on a frame pack, but it
Yeah,
would be a little
something.
much if you had a big guy. Yeah.
The frame pack would be nice up here. That's like a frame
Yeah,
pack
we were supposed
size.
to bring that. I mentioned that yesterday, and then I forgot to remind anybody.
Over at Turtle Hill.
Is it Turtle Hill? Okay.
We picked that up today on the way back.
Yeah. Frame pack also is a purchase from chat, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. Nice. So
You guys made
your
this happen.
donations at work.
Made this happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Came in time for the jacket. You bet, Gravity. You bet. And Death of Barney. I was at the dentist recently, and I spent half the time thinking about how I could get a dental pick to nick for fossil prep. Or are you talking about a dental drill?
The picks as well.
Yeah, dental picks are things that we actually use. Sometimes you ask them, and they'll give you old ones that they're going to throw out. I've done that before.
Old used ones.
Yeah. You just hit them with some bleach or some dish soap or whatever, and as long as you don't use them on your own teeth and your own gums, just use them on the fossils, you're fine. Yeah. Anyway, that is a good looking jacket. Look how smooth
looks
that is.
very pretty. I'm very happy.
Yeah, the light's hitting it just right too.
It's a beauty, you know.
You're out here in the field too long, and it's like, man, that jacket,
Ooh, looking nice.
pretty.
Yeah, it's calling my name.
Yeah.
Almost dry already.
But I digress. Let me wipe off the lens with a cloth here, because you're probably looking through the world through dust-tinted glasses right now, chat. So let's get that. Yeah. And do you ever use newspaper? We usually use paper towels as separator. Find they work better than newspaper, and we don't really have very much newspaper out here anyway. Where's my cloth? There we go. All right, hold still, chat. You got something on your face. That's better. I think I got it. All right. Got dental tools for cleaning 3D prints from the Army surplus store. Very cool thing. Nice. And what's the naming and numbering convention for jackets? Asked Kennedy. Great question. Let's talk about that a little bit. I think we've got some jackets that are already labeled, although they might be upside down. You might not be able to see the labels. But at this site, it's like DS underscore 24 underscore and then the specimen number. So we started at 1, and I think we're probably up to, I don't know, I'd say like 20 or something so far. 20 different jackets or different specimens, specimen bags, stuff like that from this site. Different institutions will have different conventions for numbering and labeling things, but ours is pretty straightforward. DS stands for Dell site, because I guess the guy who found this originally, his name is Dell, or maybe his last name? I forget. Yeah. Yeah. And let's see. Enlightened Tide says, I guess kitchen roll has many uses too. Yes, kitchen roll. Yeah, or paper towels as we call them. Plenty of uses, absolutely. For certain. And the nice thing about carrying one of those in your pack when you're out prospecting, you know, you might need it for a jacket or for packing material for small fossils that you find, but say you're prospecting out in the Hell Creek and it's a long day and you want to, you know, maybe rest for a few minutes, just take that roll of paper towels, kitchen roll out of your bag, use a nice little pillow, take a little nap. I've done that before. Denver Fowler taught me that back in 2012. Good times. Pimpcat says you should write Millpool on one of those jackets as a prank. I might have to do that. Sneak in there and get that on there. with the L trailing off. Yes. Also emergency TP. There you go, Neverwinter. Yeah. Yeah. Not even emergency TP. Sometimes that's first resort. Last resort is like, you know, a bit of smooth rock or something that you find on the ground. I'll pick up one of these and use that for wiping. I've had to do that before many a time. Yeah. Sagebrush, lol. Yeah, that's about the worst you could do, Toner Belly. That's if you can't find a rock. You might use sagebrush. Oh boy. The 3 seashells. There you go, Death of Barney. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, leftover plaster covered burlap. Usually we don't have that. That'll be like out prospecting. When you're far away from everybody else and nobody's got any TP. Yeah. Or sorry, loo roll for those of you from Commonwealth countries. Sometimes you run out and or forget to pack it and need to get creative. But yeah, site is looking good. This is so much different from how it looked just a few days ago. This is excellent. So, see our map grid square over there, and our body board. We might be using that to carry some of these jackets out today, along with some ratchet straps. Good stuff. And back to the science. There you go, Lenina. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Right now, Ethan's heading down the skirt of that jacket a little bit. It'll make it easier to put a bottom jacket onto it. You won't have to use quite as much burlap because that uses up some of the length when you've got to go over some of that stuff. Digging up dinosaurs takes a certain degree of creativity. You work with what you got, and you do the best you can with limited resources. Mr. Vet says, let's go rock surfing. You know, you could. Wouldn't be the worst place to do it.
Put it there eventually.
Anyway, and Squiggles DeGaba, welcome back. Yeah, streaming to you live from beautiful, windy Wyoming. Digging up some dinosaurs here and trying to show you how this all works. Glad you're here. Let me drink some more water before I forget. Yeah. There's our satellite dish. So, watch. If I stand in front of that, you'll see the signal like get scrambled. Should we try that? Just for fun? Might be cool. Here. Let me show you what happens when I, Dunta 8 Rizker says, is this live or pre-recorded? No, this is all pre-recorded right now. I know exactly what everybody is about to type in the chat and everything, including you. You're also pre-recorded. Yeah. There's our satellite dish. So let's go have a look at it. I don't know, it looks pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. If you stand in front of it, we'll see your internal organs. What do they look like, HD? I hope they look good. They looking okay? Yeah, that's probably enough of that. That's probably enough of that. Did it mess up? It usually does when I stand in front of it. Anywho. And Emperor Spoon says, what's the process like for surveying for dig sites? How do you know fossils might be there? And is it always a desert? Deserts are often the best places to find fossils like this. Because you've got exposed rock on the surface. Not a lot of vegetation covering it. Not a lot of Costco parking lots. You know, not a lot of Tesco's covering up the rock. It's just there on the surface. And you've got to look at your geological maps if you're after a certain kind of critter or something. Figure out when that animal lived, or that other organism, and then figure out where rocks of that particular age are exposed on the surface. Most of the rocks on planet Earth have been mapped at this point. So we've got a pretty good idea of how old these given rocks are in certain areas. And so you go out to one of those places and you look around. You've got to make sure you've got permission to prospect in the first place, so you don't get shot by a rancher or something. But yeah, then once you're there, you walk along and you look at the ground, you look for bits of bone that are eroding out of the surface. You follow them into the source, and hopefully you get a skeleton there. That's pretty simple. I get this question multiple times every stream. I'm getting quicker and quicker at answering it. How fast was that this time? And Tesco's can be a problem. There you go. So I have heard. And did the signal not mess up when I was standing in front of it? There was a little static for a split second as you started to leave. Well, thing, that's actually pretty cool. And Heggy for life, yeah. Thank you for blessing whoever sneezed over there. That looks really illicit. Oh, you got up your arm right there.
Yeah, it does.
White lobster. This is just my,
Yeah, don't worry about it.
just my brick of
Plane flew by.
important things.
Yeah,
Fell
for
off the
sure.
back of a truck.
There you go. Yeah, yeah.
By viewing, you're all accessories.
No, I'm sure that's, I don't know what that is. Some sort of supply that we need here.
The Gypsona rolls.
Oh, those are the gypsonas. Nice. Okay, so those are our pre-rolled
That's what we were
plasters.
saying.
Definitely, yeah. That's our story. We're sticking to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ethan's continuing to cut away at the jacket there, so we can put a bottom jacket onto it. And we can haul this thing out.
You got burns in your knees right here.
Colombian digging powder. There you go. No, this is supposed to be a PG-rated channel. I don't know why I'm making jokes like this. I'm sorry. This is on me. I apologize. Breaking my own rules here. Sticking some plaster through the desert with quotation marks. There you go. Yeah. 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 Sorry, mods. I'm sorry. I'm making your lives a little bit more difficult. I apologize. Couldn't resist. How can we time out the streamer for not being PG? Well, here we go, Charlie's Dragon. You know, we can. Yeah. No, I appreciate everybody, keeping things on topic as much as possible and keeping things family friendly. Because the whole point is to reach a wide audience and be able to do good science outreach here. So, kind of, not censoring ourselves, but, yeah. Anyway, we're gonna do some more jacketing here.
Actually, hold on. It's better to just pour a bit out. This is going to create more problem. There you go. I'd pour a third of it out.
Find a nice thirsty plant.
Yeah. Still like the white for plaster, red is no disaster.
Yeah. And, it's all covered with dust. Let me see. Harmless Cato says, where are the bones? So we've got most of those capped at this point. We've got them with these protective plaster jackets over the top, called field jackets.
Ain't no bone. Thanks, Dad.
So,
Good. If you can get this bag of plaster.
if you were here a little bit earlier, we could have shown you the exposed bones. But those of you who were here earlier got to see them. There is some exposed bone right here. Look at that lovely bone texture. The duckbill dinosaur here. Our jawbone is right there. It's already covered up. There's other bits of bone on the surface here. Like right here. See that lovely trabecular texture? The interior of the bone right there, kind of spongy.
I haven't mixed with
More of it right here. It's all shiny because it's covered with glue. Help protect it. We've got more bone right here. And right here. Doesn't look super pretty right now. This has been out in the elements for a long time, probably a couple hundred years at least. It's been exposed here on the surface. But we've got other bone that was from down in situ, down in the rock, and that's a bit cleaner. And we've got that in some of these jackets here, already extracted. Nice. We've got Spencer making a jacket here, mixing some plaster. Is this your first jacket, Spencer?
Given all
no.
this.
No, okay. Oh, of course not. You've been here for a few days. Yeah.
time going outside?
turning into a pro at this point.
Oh, he's got it figured out.
Yeah.
At the museum.
And see, this is why we wear goggles sometimes too, because there's plaster dust just blowing everywhere in the wind. Not controlled conditions out here. Pull it back, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably good.
Yeah, those like good consistency.
How much rock have you had to move? That's a good question at Light and Tight. Not too much at this site. There's not too much overburden, but you know, this used to be level with the ground right here. So all of this pit right here, we did that.
It'd be good to start.
It's been Luke and Spencer
Okay, keep fighting it.
for the most part here. Also me and Ken and
Guys, there's a bunch of us standing around. This jacket can be to the car any minute. Start hauling it. That'd be great.
yeah.
Oh, let me tie.
All right. Time is 5:15. Nice. Dust in the wind. There you go, HD. Yeah, dust and wind right in the eyes if you're not careful. And do you know the kind of dinosaur that bones? Yes, exact. Harmless Cato. This is a duck-billed dinosaur. What we call a Hadrosaur. We don't know what kind yet. Very good chance it's going to be a new species or even a new genus. So it's probably new, which is exciting.
Do you want hands or is it just you?
I'm good.
Okay, you betcha.
So we've got Spencer and Ethan. They're going to put a bottom jacket on here. Get that thing fully enclosed so it's nice and protected for its trip back to the laboratory. At certain museums you'll see, you know, well you won't see, but they have sometimes like a big storage area or even a warehouse where there's a bunch of these jackets just sitting there waiting to be prepped.
Yeah.
Museums often have limited budgets and limited staff, and so only the most important and interesting fossil jackets actually get opened right away and cleaned and prepped and studied and published. But given that this is probably a new species, if not a new genus, this is high priority, and this will get opened much more quickly than lower priority stuff will. So hopefully within the next few years, you'll be hearing about this dinosaur once it gets published. That's the hope. So stay tuned.
All this trash out.
And the viscous, we're in Wyoming right now, out in the middle of nowhere. Wild and windy, beautiful Wyoming.
Connect these two.
And Peckerson says, what will this dinosaur be named? We don't know yet. Ethan's got a few ideas, but we're not going to share any of those, sorry.
All right. You got any more, Spence?
Yes,
Could use two more, I think.
That's a good looking jacket too.
That's a great one right here. Yeah, buddy.
Nice and manageable size. Good stuff. And Arlie says the Campanile at Berkeley still has a lot, no? So no, they don't have jackets in there. They've got a bunch of fossils from the tar pits at La Brea in Los Angeles. I don't think I remember seeing any jackets in there. It's just loose bones of Pleistocene mammals, saber-toothed cats, ground sloths, mastodons, dire wolves, critters like that, from much, much later in time than these dinosaurs. Those are recent enough that they lived alongside people. These are much, much older as dinosaurs. And we think these are 73 million years old here. We're going to get a firmer date on that once that data comes back. Once that date comes back, rather. All right.
Where do you want it?
Nano says, do you guys put all your dinosaurs' names in a hat, or is it decided on together? It's decided on together. Yeah. Some of us are going to be working on this. We'll be authors on the scientific paper, and we'll agree on a name. Ethan's got some really good ideas. We'll probably run with one of his. If it does turn out to be a new species or new genus, which it probably will be. But best not to count one's chickens before they hatch, you know? Count one's hadrosaurs before they hatch.
It's like a big turtle shell. We found a turtle.
We made a turtle.
Holy turtle.
And Emilith, not only is it considered poor form to name something after yourself, it's very much against the rules. The International Code of Zoological Nomenclature states you cannot name a critter after yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, half of all prehistoric life would be named Copeland Marsh.
There you go. Yeah.
It would just be unbelievably lame to do that.
It'd just be
It really would
those
be.
names.
Yeah, that would be super cringe to name an animal after yourself.
Super cringe. Mega cringe.
I'm gonna name this one Megan.
Timmy. Timmy started
Name it after your girlfriend.
Megan.
There is an
I love you,
ornithomimid
Megan.
called Timimus from Australia. Yeah,
After
I think
Tim-
it's dubious.
After Tim.
Yeah, because it looked so
Timo?
similar to him. The skull looked exactly like his skull. They named it Timimus, the Tim
Really?
mimic.
That's funny.
No, I think it was Tom and Victoria Vickers Rich named it after their son or something.
That's lame. No, that's cool. That's cool. If I had a son, I would name a lot of stuff after.
Or maybe it was named after a donor's son or something. I don't know. They named a lot of stuff after. They named a dinosaur Qantasaurus after Qantas Airlines in Australia.
Yeah.
And there was another one, Atlas Copcosaurus, named after Atlas Cop Company, Atlas Copco. It's like a construction company. They provided them some funding, so fair enough.
Like very, very small.
Yeah. But a scientific name, when you name it after someone, that's like the highest honor you can give somebody. And sometimes those people are really well-respected colleagues, often recently deceased. Sometimes they're donors or people who have contributed mightily toward the discovery or excavation or preparation of critters like this. There is that super well-preserved nodosaur from Canada, Borealopelta, that was published a few years ago. You've probably seen it, like this beautiful armored dinosaur, just absolutely gorgeous, exquisite preservation. It's Borealopelta markmitchellii. It was named after Mark Mitchell, who was the guy who spent 6 years of his life putting it back together in the laboratory, because a big part of, parts of it just completely crumbled in the field. They tried to pick it up with a crane, and in this quarry up in Canada, and it just broke into a million pieces. So he put so much work into putting it back together that they named it after him, and that's pretty cool. What's that? Oh yeah, he definitely did earn it. Absolutely. Here, I'm going to turn this panel around so it's actually facing the sun. Get a little bit more juice, let's hope. And whoop, I'm going to disconnect this because that's. Come on now. There we go. There we are. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Anyway. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, Biggie, what's our plan for timing here? We trying to leave at 6?
We're trying to leave now, basically. We're kind of ready to go.
Great, okay.
So
I'll wrap up the stream then.
Haul these bones out, bring them back to civilization,
All right.
and learn wonderful things about their world. All right.
Awesome. Exciting stuff.
Do it.
Well, that's my cue to wrap things up here. I hope you all had a wonderful time here. I hope you learned something. Hope you had fun. I hope you're inspired to learn more about this amazing natural world around us and our own place in it. Thanks for being here. Let's find somebody to raid here real quick. Open up the old Twitch app. Let's see here. Oh, we're gonna go check out Scient Streams is what we're gonna do. So let's do that. There we go. I wish that button weren't up in the corner. It makes it really difficult to press. It's under the strap on the thing. Anyway. Raid. Science. Streams. Excellent. Well, we're going to go check out some more science from one of my dearest friends on Twitch and in the sciences. Belent and maybe even Lita will be on there too, doing some Microscopy Monday. They're looking through the microscope at some really cool things, and I think you're going to enjoy it a lot. So, everybody, you say hi to Belent for me, will you? I got to get busy packing up all my gear so we can go back to camp. But I hope you had a good time here today. I hope you learned something. Thank you for everything. Your kind words, your encouragement, your excellent questions, your enthusiasm, and your financial support. The only reason I can be out here is because of that. So thank you for making this possible, chat. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll be streaming again tomorrow from the field. So for right now, let's go ahead and raid into Science Streams. I will see you there. Bye-bye. All right.